Don't be surprised.
I had had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in
Oh
the middle
yeah,
of
that's what
nowhere.
I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off when I was having this fit. I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
I know, people. We have to play this song for Newsom Newsom. Okay, we're glad you touched down pouring rain because it's always
You
pouring
look
rain.
like Fred Waterford from The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh Lord, it's so it's always raining in the Delta Blues, so that's why they
Let's
call
take
it.
a selfie later.
What the hell is this?
Forgot to hit pause.
Actually, I was hitting close because I got another other stuff open. That's kind of like, well, what did that come from? Welcome everyone to the chat. I hope everyone's, I don't know, doing whatever. It's fucking Saturday afternoon. You should be doing something with your life. I mean, we're glad you're here. Don't get me wrong. Um, what about last night's show? What about it? Well, you may be right. There wasn't enough news, but you know what I'm going to tell you about that? Fuck you. Anyway, hey, look, it's our show. We talk about what we want to talk about. We got a lot of news in there last night, and you know what? When you hear us doing stuff like that, instead of criticizing or whatever, drop one of us a text message or an email saying, "Hey guys, hey,
Get
can you
back on
talk
topic.
about this?" I mean, there's a couple people asked me if we'd go back and talk about Israel, and we went back and forth on Israel. And the problem is, this is a consensus on that particular show about Israel, and it's just dumb to ask because you're going to get the same answer. And it's no, there's a lot of stuff that we don't all agree on, but on that particular thing, we pretty much agree on it. And
Yeah.
you know,
I don't think I do.
well,
I
no,
think
because
I'm the outlier in this group
Yeah,
here.
you may not agree on wiping the entire region out, but it's getting to the point. Who wants to keep
Damn,
fighting
dude.
over there?
Well, I mean, I just think that it's like, how is the evidence refuted at this point of what's actually going on? Like, how is there any deniers of like the fact that
that
there's a
they're
famine
blowing
and
the
that
shit
they're
out of
being,
people up, killing people.
you know,
Yeah,
it's like
nobody
literally
denies that. There's nobody
You know
denying that.
these facts. 20 years ago, Hamas did this, attacked Gaza. Israel reacted. Europe and the United Nations stopped them, and Israel said this is going to happen again, and they capitulated, and
Israel's
Hamas
not a
backed down and all
state.
that.
Is
And here we are again, 20
Israel
years
is
later, the
a
same thing, just like Israel said, is
agreement.
happening again. So what's to keep it from happening and happening and happening and happening? Either they get wiped off the face of the earth, or we stop negotiating. I mean, why we're even negotiating with these people who keep dragging it out to the point where
So,
it's they go
We're
past
negotiating with the people who are being occupied by the settlers of the land that have no
see, but that's where
right
you're
to it
wrong.
other than
You
treaties that were
you
made.
ever heard about this guy called Jesus? You ever heard of Jesus? Israel owned the property when Jesus was born. It was their state. It was not anybody else's. It belonged to them. They would run off of it later on, but it belonged to them in the beginning. It always has been theirs. Their religion is as old as the Muslims or any other religion. It's always been their territory. All they did was reclaim it. They said, no, Temple of Mount has always been ours. We're the ones that built it. It's ours. So people forget how far, when people think of religion today, they think of the New Testament and they think of modern religion. They never stop to think of, yes, it's like when you hear people say, oh, you're living on indigenous land. Whose indigenous land? The Indians used to murder each other left and right. We know the Spanish owned the whole entire West Coast.
There's like, what I'm referring to is there's literal videos of Netanyahu talking about nobody's being starved in Gaza. We're not sniping babies in the head. We're not lighting up whole families and kindergarten classes. And
the other night,
but it's all true. They say they're not killing press and journalists and medical staff and shooting up hospitals and bombing churches, all of which are war crimes, but there's evidence to prove that they are.
Okay. First off, a lot of that's just leftist propaganda.
There's video evidence of it.
No, we'll go through, but whose video evidence of it?
Does it matter who's shooting what? Like with the video cameras?
Yes, it came from Iran. You can't believe it.
I mean,
we know this. We know this for sure.
It's plain to see.
We know this for sure. That the Hamas killed a bunch of babies, set them on fire, and stomped their heads in the ground. Then they turned around and went and killed 1,700 teenagers and took a bunch of people hostages. So let me ask a question to you: have they given all the hostages back yet?
No.
I believe Israel killed them.
No.
When they bombed everyone else.
Come on.
No, Israel didn't kill them, and there's some of them not even in the occupied territory. Matter of fact, the last 4 or 5 that we retrieved had to be brought back to the occupied territory in order to get a plane to get out to come back to America or to go back to Israel. So people,
they're setting up.
They won't even be held.
They're setting up feeding traps because they're starving them to death, and then they're setting up traps by saying, "Hey, come get your aid and your food," and then they're shooting them all, using them as target practice.
So America's got lots and lots of film of UN trucks being rolled in and Hamas rolling them out, and the only by shooting anybody is Hamas.
The only videos I've seen are of Israeli settlers setting up blockades, stopping the trucks from driving through, and Israeli settlers harassing and shooting old ladies. And
how do you know they're Israelis?
Yeah, you know that's absolute bullshit. That's total propaganda. First off, I haven't seen any of that anywhere. There's no UN's not talking about any of that. The only thing that's really going on there is Israel puts out flyers the day before and says, we're bombing this area. If you're still here, you're a fucking problem. because they're going to bomb the area no matter what. And if Palestine would hand over the Hamas, which they won't do, this is all on the Palestinians. All they have to do is hand over
this
Hamas.
is kind of the same as like,
we've caught them way deep in hospitals, building things behind hospitals, hiding Hamas, behind schools. Anybody who uses a hospital and children.
How would you like it if somebody who used to own your house came to your house and was like, hey, I used to own this house like 50 years ago. Get the hell out of here. I'm going to shoot your brains out.
Well,
I'm going to rape your wife. Or I'm going to kill your children.
As long
I'm
as
going to take it by force.
But that's the point. As long as they hide terrorists, Iranian-backed terrorists, they have the right to do that.
No, that's not what the
right to
Israelis. The Israelis are going to people's homes and saying, this is ours now.
Because they have Hamas.
Just because we used to live here hundreds of years ago.
That's not what's going on. Anytime the Israelis go in, Israelis tell you long before they're going in. Because the only thing the Israelis is looking for is Hamas. And we have caught Hamas right in people's homes, in their backyards, in their cellars.
Are babies Hamas?
Hamas is Hamas. If they use a baby for a shield, that's Hamas. It's not Israel.
Where are you getting babies from?
Because there's hundreds and hundreds of babies being killed like all the time. Like
no, the only babies being killed
over
is by
300
Hamas.
Babies have starved to death just from malnutrition in like the last 2 months.
That's like when they said 300 people starved when USA was cut off, and that was actually completely false. So the problem is if you want aid, just go to the border and get it.
And they are, and then they're being shot.
No, they're not. If they're being shot, they're being shot by Hamas. Israelis don't shoot anybody for no reason. That's not who they are. I mean, they're the chosen people of Christ. So, I mean, they're not the ones going around killing people. Hamas started this. They're the ones that were stomping kids' babies in the ground. They were the ones that were putting bullets through teenagers' heads. They started this. This is all on them. And all you have to do to end this is to hand.
What about the U.S.
Hamas
warship that was attacked by Israelis?
And the U.S. warship? Well, if Iran would attack the U.S. warship, we just sunk it. We just sunk them.
All the way back when? I mean, the Israelis have been attacking U.S. and it's been hush-hush, swept under the rug. USS Lincoln.
Do you realize all the weapons Israel have come from us? Every weapon they have comes from us. So if they were talking any of our ships, they would never get anything.
It's well-known fact.
Not only do they give, no, it's not a well-known fact. It's well-known bullshit.
Show me. Tell me.
That's just outright bullshit.
Okay, like,
that's
what year is it?
You can't be stopped.
Let me look it up. I've got sources. You guys have never heard of what is it? Here, let me look it up. In November 2020, this is recent. The Houthi rebels claim to have successfully targeted U.S. Navy aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln.
That's not Israel. That's the Houthis.
That's not Israel.
That's one of the ones Israel's trying to kill.
No.
Yes,
that was confirmed. The USS Lincoln was bombed by Israelis back in the day in like the 50s. Yeah.
Oh, that could have been an accidental bombing. I wouldn't put that in a war zone.
They claimed it was never them.
And it probably wasn't them. Israelis and U.S.
The USS Liberty.
The U.S. and the Israelis have an outstanding relationship. Nothing's going to change that. There's nothing going on right now that the Israelis are trying to do anything but help the U.S. in their quest to get rid of Iran.
Israeli attacks USS Liberty, making an American communication ship located near Egypt waters. They mistook it for an enemy ship. They knew it was them after a while, but kept shooting.
It's once a ship's identified, nobody's thinking anything. Nobody's getting
34 sailors were killed. They had no weapons. They were a communications ship.
Ooh, that means
it was a spy vessel.
Yeah, it was a spy vessel. That's what that means.
Spy boat.
Yeah, so if that's true, that's probably why they got shot at, because they were a spy vessel. So we do the same thing the Russians
shot at the United States military ship.
Anybody who's stupid enough to shoot at a military ship is going to get hell rained on their head.
But they didn't. They were It was all.
There would have never
swept under the rug.
They
would have wiped them off. It wouldn't be Israel anymore. All commanders in the Mediterranean and in the sea over there have standing orders. Somebody shoots you, you shoot them back. Mm-hmm. That's standing orders.
Look up USS Liberty.
I just did. It was a spy boat. It wasn't U.S. Navy.
So
What
spy
was it?
boats, spy
Hang on, I'll tell
boats
you
are
what it
a whole different thing. Everybody
Uh,
shoots at spy boats because they ain't
Oh, it
supposed
was
to do
okay.
that.
So it was a Navy ship, but it was not a warship. It was the United States Navy technical research vessel, a spy ship.
Yeah, sticking its nose where
So
it
what?
got
That gave
caught.
that gave
No, that
them
means it
permission
wasn't
to shoot them
flying.
down.
No, yeah, because they weren't flying a U.S. flag. Spy ships don't fly their home flag. Matter of fact, most of them it's not even on board the ship.
Yeah, and plus it was in international waters in a war zone and during the 6-Day War. Guess what? It's a target.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is some U.S. spy ships carry the Jolly Roger so they can fly it to let other American ships know it's them. Oh man, but they don't carry the U.S. flag on board at all. You can't do that because if you
No
get caught, you
identifying
get
marks
caught.
whatsoever.
You got to make it where you can't get caught.
Well, that's why they look like
So if let's be
trawling
honest,
vessels and
if
fishing vessels.
if the Palestinians wanted this war over, they would hand over all the Hamas locations inside of Palestine. They refuse to do it, and no one's going to stop killing them until they do it. It's that simple. It's no
All
more
of
complicated
Gaza
than that.
is rubble, it's dust, it's sand.
Not yet.
What
but
else is there to hand over?
Oh, there's still a big chunk of the city left.
Yeah, there's a
the
lot
media
more.
just don't want you to see that, but there's a big chunk of the city left. They just keep showing you same places over and over.
They only show you the devastation so that the story hits and it impacts you.
But if you take a satellite ride over the top of it, or you go watch European news, or maybe even Fox, you'll actually see big chunks of the city there. They haven't
Sometimes
why are they bombing tents?
You think it's Hamas? That's what you don't understand. If this Houthis or Hamas presence, they're free game. And if you're stupid enough to hang around with terrorists, you're free game. It's that simple. It's nothing else to it.
But see, my question is though, what makes a child Hamas? What makes a baby Hamas? What makes an old lady Hamas?
It makes them shields.
Who gives a shit what the baby is? If you shoot it, you're an asshole and you should be killed too. It's that simple. Hamas is shooting babies. Israel is not.
Hamas.
That is not true. There's so many babies being killed by Israel.
Israel's not going into places and intentionally killing babies. There may be
There's soldiers, Israeli soldiers, admitting that they go and use children as target practice videos. There's press, there's people.
Where are you?
That's not even true, even a little bit. If that was true, every UN, every part of the UN, every EU.
They're trying to. The only country that's not on board is the U.S.
No,
nobody's talking about it. I watch world news every day.
Off like that, there would be no more Israel friends.
Yeah, that's you can tell that you right off the bat. That's just false bullshit. Now they're starving them to death, though. They're not using them for target practice, but they're starving them to death because all of them been told the same thing. Do you know 50% of all the Palestinians are Egyptian? So you can always take your ass back to Egypt. 1/3 of them are Syrian. They can always go back to Syria. They don't have to stay in the Palestine area.
No. Do any of you guys use Instagram?
Yes, I actually
use it.
Yes.
Or TikTok. There's a content creator who goes by the name of B Fendi. B the letter and then FENDYY. And he's based out of California, but his family is from Palestine. And he uses this social media app to communicate with Israeli soldiers. And he has on video, and these are real Israeli soldiers. He's communicating with them.
I can tell you that's false right there. It doesn't work that way. It's not how Israelis allow, or they can't even communicate that way. They don't have TikTok or anything like that on them. The only thing they have is a two-way radio. And Israel, just so you know, jams all communication areas around their soldiers at all times. You're not getting any signal, no fucking cell phone, not even a shot to get the signal out of there. So right there, that tells you that's a content creator who's either using AI or getting propaganda from the Houthis.
It's not AI. It's real people who have either were once IDF or currently IDF. He's in there saying
I will play. What's that wonderful word? Whatever it is, I'll play it for you right now. Every world leader in the world singing it. Looks just like every world leader singing.
From the 90s?
No, from now, today, every world leader. Trump singing, Putin singing. We'll do it at the next break, but every one of them singing. I mean, it's great. They do a great job.
The AI is so good on that one of the Ayatollahs.
So the difference between you and I is I know how the military works. and they blanket communications. You're not allowed to communicate. It's just the way it is. You don't do that because any communication can be picked up by any news media.
Well, I'm not
So
saying that they're,
they don't
not saying they're smart or anything.
If you're in the
because
field and you're a
they don't have
soldier
to be
and you're
smart.
listen, if you're in the field and you're using a radio when you don't need to be using a radio, anyone can pick that transition up and triangulate where you are.
They're not. It's not like they're in the
They will
field
kill you.
24/7. They have downtime. They have time to like relax. They've
No, it
during
doesn't
their
matter if
rest
they have
time.
downtime. You don't get it when it's a
When you're in a
blanket
fire zone, you don't have
communication.
time to relax.
You don't. Even then, even if you get a chance to sit down, you're still under the communications blackout. You're not going to be able to communicate. The only way you're going to be able to communicate is that when you go home and get in your little house and get back in Israel. Well, you know what? Israel's military is not like ours. It doesn't work that way.
There's news in Israel too. There's news in Israel, and he is on the news in Israel as being a Hamas propagandist. But
that's a bunch of bullshit, Leah. That's bullshit. It is.
Okay.
I'm calling you now. I'm calling it right now. That's bullshit. No.
Well, I mean, I invite you to look him up yourself and see what I'm talking. I'm not just like,
what do I need to look at him for? To me, he's doing AI, or he's just throwing the shit out there.
He's not. It's not. He was approached by somebody in Los Angeles harassing him, saying, "Hey, I know who you are. You're the guy that does this and this and this by a previous IDF soldier who's no longer an IDF."
So you do know the Houthis and Hamas put out videos on a regular basis, right? Professionally made videos.
This isn't professional. This is off of a cell phone app. This is just somebody.
Well, it ain't. It's not anybody from Israel. Because first off, so you know this: Israeli soldiers are not allowed to carry cell phones. Period. Sorry, they're not, and can find themselves in jail.
And they're so known to like follow all the rules, right?
Yes, they are very. Israeli soldiers are very.
Israeli soldiers are pretty strict.
So look, think of it this way: everybody in Israel has to spend 2 years in the military. Everybody, men and women. It's a different society.
He's talking to people who have previously served in the military.
You're not dealing with
who are no longer in the IDF, but used to be.
People in Israel don't sell themselves out for $5. It's not the kind of people.
They're not, and it's random. It's not like he's like targeting people to just speak with. It's a random connection that's made.
Nobody in the last 3 years has been released from duty yet, so you wouldn't be hearing anything from them.
Well, it's not like this just started all of a sudden. This has been going on for decades.
No,
Palestinians have been occupied since the Balfour Declaration was signed.
Palestinians were the occupier. What are you talking about?
You got that backwards. Palestinians didn't have a state before World War II. After World War II, they forced and made the Palestinian state for them. So it is the Palestinians technically who are occupying Israeli land, not the other way around.
The Israelis were just nice and said, okay, look, we understand, we will let you have a piece of the land, but it was not their land. It was the Israelis. The Israelis claim this dates back before Christ. Palestine wasn't even existing before Christ.
That's not true.
It is true.
There's Bibles. There's maps from pre-Balfour Declaration signing that state that land was Palestine. There's people that have.
What was Jesus? What was his
Palestinian?
Religion? No, he was a Jew.
He was a Palestinian Jew.
No, he was a Jew. Palestinians didn't even exist yet. You're adding in the things.
It wasn't even. Okay, so it wasn't called Palestine, but it
didn't belong to anybody but Israelis.
Listen,
it was an Israeli state that decided to be nice and let them. Look,
it wasn't an Israeli state. It was a British administrative territory that existed from 1920 to 1948. So it's not even. It's not even Israeli. It's British.
Oh no, I'm talking for this was pre-Christ. This was BC. That's how long the Israelis have had.
That are being occupied are the ones that are indigenous to the land. The ones that are settling it are literally Europeans. They're like Eastern European, of Polish descent, of Eastern European descent.
Was of Polish descent, right? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm saying that Israeli Zionists are not indigenous to that
Israelis were
area.
There before. Yeah, Israelis were. That's where Christ was, and he's a Jew. He's Jewish, and that's what the Israelis are, is Jewish. I don't know why you're having such a hard time with that, but their claim predates Christ.
So I don't think they claim Christ as being part of their little heritage. Like they don't want to even say that he's the Messiah. They're not. They think he's a schmuck. They think that he's in hell getting shit on right now.
That's not what they think at all.
Where
That
the hell
is,
did
it's
you get
literally
that
in their
Oh,
at?
it is.
Bible.
Oh, it is
It's in their
Where
not.
did you
Talmud.
get that at?
Where do you
Oh
get
my
this
God.
stuff? He's
Who?
actually in Jews. He's considered to be a minor deity,
All right.
and
This is from
okay.
the Britannica Encyclopedia on who came first, Palestine or Israel. By more than 1,000 years, Israel predates Palestine. Boom.
You're wasting an argument. This was something that the Jews decided to do to give them. They didn't
Who
have to, and they
controls?
shouldn't have.
Who
To
controls?
be honest with you, they should have never gave it to them. They should have said no. Go stay in
Who
Egypt. Go stay
controls the
somewhere else.
majority of the Western media and all of the like news outlets and
Nobody
all
these
of
days.
the
Thanks to
printing
Trump
presses
broke
that
up.
gave us all our history books and our educational
Okay, I'm
timelines
gonna
of
help you
what to
with this
follow?
too. No, I'm gonna help you with this.
History is wrong.
So just recently, we did the 300 Codex. That's the first known Bible, 300 Codex. That's they just called it a Codex at the time. This is right after all Christ, the whole 9 yards. So what we did was Jay and I went backtracking to see where Jesus actually was when he was alive, to make sure he was actually a person that people actually knew and considered who he was. So we found out he was in Rome for a while. Well, he was actually in the Roman Empire for a while, banging around. There's several governors that talk about him moving around. Then he went to the Persian emperor called him because he was sick and asked him if he would come help him. And then he was there for a while. So he was actually older than what we were taught. Like when they say he's 33.
There are some texts and rumors that he even made it to perhaps Tibet to meet with the Bodhisattva. What was his name? I can't remember. The guy who became Buddha eventually. Siddhartha Gautama. He met with Siddhartha Gautama before he was Buddha.
So we know he was we know he's probably around 40 years old when he got back to Israel. That was what it was called back then, Israel. And
I mean, wasn't he 33 when he died though? When he was crucified?
That's what they tried to say, but that's not how
he was born somewhere probably within the.
He was closer to 40 than he was to 33.
Yeah, probably he was probably at least born.
Because remember, they said he was gone for 20 years, but he didn't leave his house at 13. So that was just some screw up somewhere in the Bible somewhere, because he didn't leave at 13. He probably didn't even leave at 17. He's probably closer to 20.
To that effect, Joe, he's taken out of the Bible somewhere around the age of 12, and he doesn't return back to the Bible till he's 33. That's where those numbers come from.
Yep, that's when he walked around the earth as a human being.
But that's a thing. That would mean he left his house at 13, and you couldn't sell me that in a million years.
Can I add something to this?
Yes, go
ahead. This is from an Israeli-Palestine subreddit, all right? The question is, who was on the land first? The poster says, before I ask this question, please understand I'm asking out of curiosity, and I'm only asking this as a historian. I know this is a sensitive topic. I'm only looking for answers. Israel versus Palestine has been an issue for decades. Everyone claims that Palestinians have been in Israel first before Jews. But what I don't understand is that the Torah came out way before the Quran did. Jews have originated been living in Israel for centuries, but were forced to migrate due to anti-Semitism. When the Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca and moved to Medina to spread Islam, he already found Jewish tribes living there, thus proving that Jews existed before Muslims. I'm educated on the biblical history of this, but things get confusing after the 1900s. If Jews lived in Israel for so long, why are people claiming that Palestinians were there first? How did Palestinians migrate to Israel? So one of the answers here is Palestinians have been there from the beginning.
They have not.
There were Arab tribes in the Levant during the same time Canaanites were in the area. DNA tests show that Palestinians have ancient Canaanite DNA.
Okay,
the Jewish kingdom was.
You're messing yourself up. You don't even know what a Palestinian is. So you're thinking they're one people. Well, no, they're not one people.
You don't have to. What they're saying, first of all, they're wrong about a couple things. First of all, the Quran and the Bible and the Jewish Torah, they kind of happen all around the same time. There may be a few years difference between them, but the fact of the matter is that those three religions, those three Bibles, the Torah, the Koran, and the Bible, those first 5 books, the Pentateuch, they all stem from the same stories. They're the exact same stories. They're just slightly different by each 3. And what's different? The names are different. Why are the names different? The names are different to reflect their.
Is it possible that maybe the Bible was wrong?
No, they're all the same.
He says here the Jewish kingdom was there.
Okay, but you keep saying the Bible. What Bible are you talking about?
Same stories in the exact same order. All
are you talking about the Old Testament, the New Testament? I mean, what are you talking about?
So this person says the Jewish kingdom was there, but they were not the only group, and the Bible is wrong. The Canaanites were not wiped out. You still have Samaritans who are living in Israel, Palestine, and they look exactly like modern Palestinians. You can't
then why do the Egyptians
identity based on a religion.
Why do the Egyptians call them the people of Israel? And this is a couple hundred years before Christ was even born. Why did they call them that? This is Old Testament. This isn't New Testament. So why did they call them that? I mean, they were obviously there, and they were obviously being turned into slaves and everything else. Remember, they were slaves by the Egyptians, then slaves by the Romans.
And before,
so before it was Israel,
there in mass numbers. Judea. I mean,
they were there in mass numbers. You couldn't be slaves to 2 different empires if there was just a couple of you.
Yeah.
It's not the way it works. They were in mass numbers. And I don't know. It's never been a real argument amongst anybody in literature who came first. The Palestinians were something that was actually from a derivative later on. Because today,
here's another answer.
Wait, let me finish. Most Palestinians today are Egyptian and of Egyptian origin. So that doesn't really make you a Palestinian, does it? And another full third of them are Syrian and of Syrian origin. So what we're talking about is a little tiny piece of people that may be, well, we don't even know where they came from, but they're not Palestinians in the word that they're a people of Palestine, because that doesn't actually exist. So, when you get into this stuff, you got to remember that.
This person here says Jews have an indigenous claim to the land. Palestinians have a native claim of the land. I don't know what the difference would be with that.
Yeah, how do they prove that? And go back to the Bible. Go back to the Bible. Have you ever? I don't remember the word Palestine in the Bible. Does anyone else?
No, I don't remember any of the Bibles actually. No.
Philistine is in there. Samaritans are in there. A few other of the species back then, but I don't remember them mentioning Palestine.
Yeah, because they weren't even a people
Jews
yet when the Bibles were written.
Lived as an inseparable entity from the land in ancient times and were dispersed to the diaspora around 2,000 years ago. Since then, it has been part of Jewish tradition, lore, and even day-to-day religious practices to keep Jerusalem on
2,000 years ago puts them at
mind.
the turn of the centuries from AD to BC or BC to AC, and that still puts them after a good 1,000 years after Israel had already established themselves in Judea first, and then Israel.
It's the Palestinians from a myriad of backgrounds.
Yeah, but they come from way, way, way after the Jews did. The Jews had an indigenous claim. They had
they had a claim. More than 1,000.
They were there for a long time. So they were there. They were there probably 1,000 years in BC. We're going back 1,000 years BCE. Easy, maybe even further than that. I'd have to go look and see.
At least 1,000 years BCE.
So Palestinians didn't even exist until after the 1900s. That's a big difference in time.
1920.
That's 2,000 years.
Mandatory Palestine was founded in 1920 by the British Empire, and it went till 1948, right after the war, when Israel took their land back.
They see, most of all of these ones I see is when they're talking about ethnic. They're saying Palestinians wasn't actually a people. They were just different peoples scattered around the area and then eventually merged into one group, which actually makes sense because there's a lot of dispersed people back there.
Since we're talking 1,000 years ago, this region 1,000 years ago didn't really have settlements so much. There are a few cities, but for the most part, almost everybody lived not a sedentary life. They moved. They were all migratory. This whole almost everybody down there was migratory. They migrated with their sheep to different places to feed them and grow them, and they didn't stay in any one place for.
It is a shame, though. These wars shouldn't have to go on. They really shouldn't.
Over what? It's a pile of sand.
It is pretty much a big pile of sand, is what it is, especially these days.
I mean, I'm just disregarding the historical fact of it. They're all three major religions find, one spot in historical space, and one of them can share it. Because they all disagree on certain things, and it's ridiculous because they all come from the same book. They're the exact same stories, just the names are different. That is really the only difference.
It's funny though, when you go on different search engines, they give you different answers. It kind of see, this is what's wrong with the world today.
It depends if they're pro-Christian or anti-Semitic. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder what Ask Jeeves would say. Remember Ask Jeeves?
Do you think that the Jewish population is pro-Christian? Because they're not.
They're pro the chosen people.
They're pro themselves.
Christians are being persecuted just as much as the Palestinians are in that area.
Because they're the chosen people. Let me explain something about the Jews.
Does it give them the right to murder everyone else?
It does. They're God's chosen people. It does.
Okay,
you're not going to heaven
on everyone else that's not them. That's not what God's chosen people would do.
Why, he did it. He drowned them, flooded them, bombed them, blew them up. I mean, shit.
Because they're doing all the same stuff they're doing right now.
As far as the Jews are concerned, all the rest of y'all infidels are not going to heaven. You're just going to burn and on the rock when it goes. They're the chose. They're the 12 tribes. They're the ones going to heaven. The rest of y'all are just because they don't believe
even
Jesus
consider
was
people
the Savior.
That aren't in their immediate family human.
They don't.
That's why they claim there's nobody starving in Gaza. No human being is starving to death because they don't consider the people who are starving to death to be human.
Who is saying this?
Yes, I don't know. She's getting a little crazy, Dan.
I mean, I don't know who's saying that the Jewish people are saying that. I have a lot of Jewish friends. None of them are like that.
No,
whatsoever.
Their religious texts say that if you're a goyim, you're less than a dog. If you're a goy,
Leah, stop for a second. Have you ever read the Bible?
Bits and pieces of it.
Okay, well, it's the same. It's the exact same thing as the Torah. It's 100% the same, except the names are different. That is the only difference. So if you read the Bible, it's the same as the Torah.
Nowhere in the Bible does it say you can have sex with a 3-year-old.
Oh, come on. Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from?
I don't know exactly the exact part of the book. Or like a 9-year-old boy is okay to do things with, or if the girl is unwed.
I don't know what Bible you're reading.
It's the Talmud.
I don't care where you're getting this shit at, Leah, because it's definitely false.
It's in the Talmud.
The Talmud isn't a Bible.
It's one of the religious texts of the Jewish religion.
It's not a religious text. It's an religious.
I gotta call my cousin.
It's how they interpret the Bible. Their Torah. It is an interpretation of the Torah.
It gives them religious rights to have relations with children, basically.
No, it doesn't say that anywhere in the Jewish
religion. It doesn't say that, and they're very strict on that kind of shit. You get along. They're one of the hardest countries in the world on that kind of stuff. They'll put you away in a hole somewhere forever, not wanting to feed your ass. They're way stricter than America will ever be.
Let me look it up.
Good. I like this.
So pretty much all of the mounts and all the stuff in Israel they built 3,300 years ago. It was their land. They didn't come from anywhere else. It was just their land. You know,
they were occupied.
It was one of the bitches we always had. Well, it was
the
Egyptians. It was one of the bitches we always had about the Israelis. You know, because they're fair skinned. Or about Jesus, he's always looked like a long haired hippie guy. When he came from where he came from, his hair would have probably been curly and black, and he'd have looked different than what he was.
He would have had
he would have definitely been darker. And so it's just one of those things. It is funny though, how all of this stuff comes out.
Well, I mean, there are allegedly some, and I haven't seen them, but there are allegedly certain Roman censuses that were taken during the alleged time of Jesus, and his name is brought up, but he isn't Jesus, and I forget the exact way it's spelled, but so he was adopted by
Yahweh?
Joseph.
Yahweh?
Huh?
Yahweh?
No, it's like Joe and Little Joe. So he was adopted by Joseph, and his name is Yeshua, and it starts with a Y or an Ieshua, which would be modern day Joshua. And also,
Okay.
I think it also means Messiah in ancient Semitic. I'm not certain on that, but people who studied ancient Semitic would know. However, that's how it is. His name is Yeshua, little Joseph, and he was also a carpenter, which was what Joseph's his job was. That's what his training was. Jesus became a rabbi, and back then, rabbi it really meant just teacher. And in order to be doing that, you have to be married. So he married somebody, and
Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene. Thank you, Sean.
Yep. And they had a daughter too.
Sarah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that claim fucks the Palestinians altogether, because in the old days it was a region, it wasn't a people. There was lots of different cities and countries in there. They showed the Egyptians.
Like I said, most of the people they weren't sedentary; they were migratory.
Yeah,
you didn't stay in one place for more than a month or two.
People didn't even come till after the 1900s. So people from different people in different regions, which is what you see, because so many of them are Egyptian and Syrian and stuff. I just kick them out. I'd say, you don't belong here. Get out. Go back to wherever the original Palestine territory was, which is on the other side of them. So go over there. Or you know what? Go take your territory back from Egypt. There you go. That'll work. Yeah, because the northern side, southern side of Egypt would be part of the old Palestine area. Not the people, because it was like 5 different people in there. But yeah, that's what I say. Go take it back from Egypt. That works for me. I'll pay money to watch that fight. Christopher, none of this is going to stop until the Palestinians hand over Hamas. Once there's no more Hamas presence in Palestine, it'll stop. But they don't trust them. After murdering their babies and their teenage kids and stuff and taking hostages, only cowards take hostages, and only cowards kill kids.
Yeah,
frankly, I'd have bombed the whole place out of existence.
Very true.
When
Here
I
is
was
the night sky over Colorado, thanks to Heidi, one of our listeners. Nice little half moon up there, huh? That's pretty cool.
It's beautiful.
Nice. I could paint that. That's a Bob Ross. I could do that.
Oh no, we can't be letting Jay around no picture painting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, I
that's
don't know
a beautiful picture, Heidi.
Pretty good lake. I don't know if you can see on that one.
Actually, Chris, you mean Atlas? I don't know. Maybe it's coming. It's definitely coming for Leah, though. Oh yeah, I called him on the phone just now. I said, "You be sure you pick up Leah's ass when you get over here." No, I love Leah to death. She's a good friend of mine. Yes.
Thank you. Love you guys too.
No, we love you too, but you know you're entitled to what you want to say. But
yeah, your opinion is. I'm sorry.
Stick the bird finger up at him. That's what I do.
You can give me the finger if you want. Yeah, just those 3 religions aren't like that. And even Islam isn't the way it is. Why they're the terrorists, the lead terrorists in the world? I don't know. It's just the way they've extremely interpreted their text and made it so like it's.
But the biggest problem for the Palestinians now is the whatchamacallit Accord. So Egypt, Saudi Arabia.
Hey, Joe Fox.
What was it? How many countries was it on the Accord? I know it was Egypt and Saudi Arabia and a couple of others have now taken Israel as the person that owns that territory and have cut peace deals with.
Well, didn't Netanyahu basically say they're taking it anyway? It's theirs now, Gaza.
No, it's still Israel's taking it. Yeah.
I mean, he said Netanyahu actually said that they're going to go ahead and just take it over.
Yeah, they might as well, because they can't keep letting terrorists attack their people.
Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, there's been no stable life since they reestablished their territory. But that was what's so important about those accords Trump made with several countries in the area. So Egypt and them don't have to keep troops along their borders anymore. Neither does Israel. So they changed all of that. Giving relief Saudi Arabia. Saudi and Israel are pretty good friends now. They've been doing deals together. So
well, I mean, if they can just get the other group of religion guys to agree, like the rest of them.
I forgot how many of them was. I want to think there was like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking like all of Iran, most of Iraq. You know, if they get them to agree, you know,
Iran just needs to go the way of the dodo bird. That's what fucking
I agree.
Iran.
America
just needs to. Trump needs to get on like his last month in office and say, look, if you live in Iran and you're just a person who wants to be a person, get the fuck out, because we're going to carpet bomb your country from one end to the other end. There'll be nothing left standing but debris. Leave now.
Okay, so there is actually a passage in the Talmud. It's Gittin 57:8 that says, it's a passage in the Talmud that describes a necromantic encounter where Onkelos summons a figure identified by some as Jesus of Nazareth or Yeshu from the dead. The passage states this figure's punishment in the afterlife is being boiled in excrement.
It's funny because it quotes him as being a minor prophet who brings on, I forgot what it's called. So they need him actually. They're not the only ones.
Yeah, he's looked at differently.
The Muslims also say the same thing.
As a minor prophet, yes.
Yeah, but now and the other one is in the Muslim version, he's a minor prophet, but there's another word that's close to his name that means a bearer of new life. So now they're thinking that the Jesus in there is a bearer of new life. So it gets really ancient crazy when you get into all of that. It's the problem is we're talking about religions and not about spirituality.
Yeah, it's so how they're interpreted, really, and the way they're being
religions are written by man, for the control of man. That's what they're written for.
Yeah.
They're not written by gods, they're written by man for the control of man. And that's just same. So you can't really take anything as gospel in any of them, because most of them are just crap. And then when you get into the Old Testament is just more like a history. But it actually talks about giants.
It is, but the Old Testament is a lot of war and fighting and people killing each other.
Yeah, and
the New Testament's all preachy and love thy neighbor and that kind of thing.
The New Testament sucks. It's
well, until you get to Armageddon, until you get to Revelations, that's a good one.
Yeah, but you see, my problem with the whole New Testament is, and I always get in trouble for this. I always get in trouble.
Doomsday Jay.
Revelation is my book, man.
That's right. But I always get in trouble for this because I figured, okay, Jesus was alive. He was articulate. He was a teacher. He could write. He had people that could write for him. So nothing at the time he was alive he thought should be written down and given to man.
Most people couldn't read.
It didn't matter. Everybody he knew could read and write.
But the people he spoke to couldn't.
It doesn't matter. Once it's written, somebody else can read it.
This is true,
but it's not for them. It was for us. But that you're missing the point. It wasn't for them. It was for us. Just like the Bible wasn't for them. It was for us. So the point being, since there's nothing written in Aramaic at the time of Christ, that tells me one thing: the person that all the hubbub was around didn't think that's something that needed to be done. The only thing we know written at that time was in the St. Thomas Epistle, which says, split a log, there I am, split a rock, there I am. It doesn't believe in organized religion at all.
Nope, not at all.
You could speak in my backyard, talk to me. You'd be anywhere and talk to him. That's what the point was trying to make. It was trying to say that, look, you can talk to me anywhere, anytime, anyhow. Just do it. But no, we had to get all these fancy $1 million, $1 billion churches and shit, and all these preachers getting up on there acting like an ass.
Have you ever been inside the rectory of a Gothic church, a Gothic cathedral?
Yep.
The inside, the arches come together and look like the arms and branches of trees. Why is that? Because the original meeting places for at least the fledgling Catholic Church was in hidden, very foresty groves of trees, because
orchards,
if they were found, they would be killed.
Yeah, they did have orchards. It's a lot, but the thing of it is everything written, because the first thing we can talk about is the Codex. What it was, 3, whatever. So it was written in 310. That's the first written of anything dealing with Jesus Christ and his death. And it ain't even nowhere near the same as the Bible we read today. It's like a different book. For as much as I've been able to read, because a lot of it hasn't been translated in English yet. But still, and I mean, I've translated some myself, but it's like slow going for me. Go to Google Translate, come back, see what it means. Go to Google Translate. You can only do that for so long before you get irritated. And but there are some of it written has been translated in English. But the point is, it doesn't start out like our Bible. It doesn't read like our Bible. It doesn't, and it suggests not only was Jesus married, but he had several children, which means he lived.
One.
Which means he lived big. Well, so
I heard
here's
a girl and 2 boys.
So there's supposed to be 6 people out there that or 7 if you count what's his name, the guy with the 40 pieces of silver. So that are immortals. 3 of them were women that watched Jesus being crucified. They stayed there the whole time and watched the whole thing. They're immortals, and they have been seen in many cities over the years. They haven't aged any, they don't look any different, and they're always like a generation out of step in clothes. You know, it's like they were there, then they were back, and then they come back. And then they're supposed to be his children, which aren't immortal, but the first children are going to live to be 5, 6, 7, 800 years old. Each generation children lives shorter amounts, but they still are living way longer than the rest of us are. It's but he was supposed to have had multiple children. Let's look at it like this way. If his girlfriend was just fairly young and they were having sex, you know, for 5 or 6 years, yeah, odds are he's got 5 or 6 kids. And especially if he was a son of Christ, because they would have all been born healthy. It's just the 30-year-old thing just don't fit for him because it was too much traveling. And in order for him to be back after 20 years of being gone, he would have had to leave at 13.
Yeah, and he was born probably within the first 7 years of the first decade, so 7 BCE, 8 BCE, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So by the time all the events of the Bible happened, he's at least in his early 40s, late 30s, late 38, 39.
Somewhere between 38 and 42 is what I would say.
Yeah, he's up there.
He was traveling. He probably had somebody traveling with him. Whatever female,
Mary Magdalene,
yeah,
sure,
so
and their children, I would bet.
So and he was having children as they were going along. So, but we don't know because we don't know.
We weren't there.
And no, it's not.
And most of that, if there is any written evidence, any written text of that, the Catholic Church, the Pope, and the Vatican have been very vigilant in finding it and getting it out of the book and hiding it.
Well, see, that's the thing. So what they do in these codexes is they're still in there. They just consider them stories. That's why these had never been.
Well, but there are several councils of Nicaea where they actually did take stories out and add things in and redact it and change it to the way they wanted. You know, King James Bible, you said many times about, you know, the King James changed the Bible so that he could have a divorce instead of having to murder his queen.
So, but what they would do is they would always leave the original. So they would take the book and they would read it, and then they would go back and re-illuminate it, and then they would change the stories and add the stories they wanted. But they always kept the original because you never know if you might need it for something.
Yeah, they have
a lot of these original. Yeah. Well, they have them in church. You can go read them for yourself. There is in one. I can't remember how many it was, but I remember one of the Monsignors talking about this. He said they were all together almost 100 stories that were left out of the Bible that were removed, taken out. Some people say 79, some people say 80, whatever it is. There's a lot.
Yes, there is.
A lot they just took out. And remember, since they were trying to bring part of the Old Testament into this, because we know we had to have the 10 Commandments. It's well, no, technically, Krista, the Old Testament belongs to the Jews. And the New Testament belongs to us, yes. Jesus died so you could go to heaven. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not, maybe he died to make sure the Jews could go to heaven, since they're the ones that crucified him.
Well, no, look at Judas before, you know what I mean? Because
he stuck
if I'm
to
not
one.
Mistaken, think about it, right? The Judeans are the ones that crucified Christ. Okay, now bear with me on this. Okay, in the book of John, which was written 96 years after Christ died, 96 years, and whoever wrote John, okay, came up with the I guess the idea of blaming Judas for turning on Jesus. Because if you look at Judas, the name Judas, and the Judeans that actually crucified Christ, they're basically the same name. And I really believe that's why Judas had his name put in that book and that story. But what's crazy about the whole thing, though, it was written 96 years after Christ died.
And not by John.
No.
So it's secondhand knowledge at best.
Yeah. I mean, the New Testament anyway was written 100 years after all these events. The Old Testament was written like somewhere from 1800 BCE to 645, I think was the number.
Can you please explain BCE for me? Because I never heard that before.
BCE or BC, before Christ or before Christian epic, BCE. CE or AD, Anno Domini, is after God and or the year of God, and it's now CE, is now common epic or Christian epic or current epic, if you will.
Yeah, but
thank you.
But you can just use BC and AD. It doesn't really matter. All the rest of it is just trying to get technical, but it's well, Leah came from BC.
Yeah,
from like 65,800 BC. She's back there riding on the mammoths and shit. Yeehaw!
No, pterodactyls.
Oh wait, no, then we got to go way back. That's a whole different period there. That's like, frick, I don't even know what dinosaur period that was.
Well, it was one of the cave women.
So you guys are telling me that nowhere in Jewish law texts does it say anything about the steps of which to take when betrothing a child bride?
So child bride for them would have been about 16.
According to this, it says a girl 3 years and 1 day old is betrothed by intercourse. 3 years old and 1 day.
Well, that would be sick.
Any age younger than that, in intercourse, her hymen would not be considered broken because it's repaired when they're that young.
That would be
so
a hard
technically
one to
you're not taking her virginity if she's under 3 years old.
I'm pretty sure that they have the same law we have, that you have to be an adult to get married.
What book? What Bible is that from?
This is the Talmud.
That's not a Bible.
I'm not saying it is. It's Jewish law text.
It's not.
It's a collection of debates that have taken place.
It's debates on their interpretation of what happened in the Torah.
And a lot of the Jewish laws, which we all know that they do not believe in a separation of church and state, it comes from these texts.
It's no, actually they're pretty strict on their way their Bible's written.
And so a girl 3 years old may be betrothed through an act of sexual intercourse. The words of R. Meyer and sages say 3 years old and one day old.
I doubt that was true. I don't think any.
I mean, I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm just saying this is part of what they practice. This is part of what they preached when, Talmudic rabbis would study for their professions.
If that's true, that happened thousands of years ago when they were writing the Talmud. It is not a current practice of Jewish people. I can assure you of that. Their religion would be stomped out by almost every rational thinking government on the planet.
Yeah. As far as we know, and the Europeans agree with the Americans, Israelis are the strictest on when it comes to any kind of child, any kind of molestation. They're really, they'll put you away for life and then probably shoot you while you're away for life. They
they hold bar mitzvahs.
It says theologically, Judaism has not and cannot forbid pedophilia. Instead, rabbis have taken steps to regulate pedophilia out of existence, initially imposing the legal obligation of marriage upon the man and later classifying the children of Gentiles as unclean.
Wow.
Their laws are much stricter than that. Their laws say you go to jail for that kind of crap. Matter of fact, they'll permit a marriage at 17, but everybody's got to sign off on it. The parents, the kid, whoever the person is that's getting married. See, they don't even, in the United States, all you got to do is get emancipated at 17. You can get married. It's much different here. But remember, back in the Wild Wild West days, 14 was considered legal.
Anyway, how old was Laura Ingalls Wilder?
14 was definitely until, matter of fact, until maybe 100 years ago, 14 was still considered a legal age to get married. It slowly but surely was pushed out to 15, then to 16, then to 17, and then the whole nation, for some reason, settled on 17. I don't know why we just couldn't go to 18, but I guess we couldn't. No, Jack, in Louisiana is considered statutory rape. Yes.
Like, I get back in the day, like that was just common practice for every culture. Like even Anglo-Saxon culture, they were marrying 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds because it was a way to intermingle two different families, and the life expectancy was really low back then. Yeah, like 40 years old, you were close to dying, man. So children were viewed as adults early on, but 3 years old is something different.
3-year-old is just a freak. That's all that would be, is just a freak. You couldn't even say anything different than that. That kind of person would just be a freak. Even back then, they would probably have been an anomaly to society. Somebody would probably want to kill them off. It's funny, but there's certain things that the whole world kind of looks at. I mean, there's always going to be sick people. I mean, look at the Epstein files, but it's not the majority of the population. The majority of the population is like, no, and fuck no. Yeah. They get to the point where that's not acceptable. It's not socially acceptable in any shape, form, or fashion.
It's becoming more like talked about among certain groups that have studied up on the connections between Epstein and Trump and the Mossad and Ghislaine Maxwell and Robert Maxwell, that it's all a blackmail thing, that all of the elites and money and power, all of it played a role in trying
what's
to.
What's the odds of Trump being on the list? What do y'all think?
100%.
No, it's not even close to 100%. But what do you think the odds are?
If there was any proof that he was a pedophile, the Democrats would have had him pinned to the wall already.
I have screenshotted on my phone, and I don't care who hears this or whatever. I got it from the internet. The court documents.
Yes, and I debunked them. You want me to tell you why?
Before you Katie Johnson.
Yeah, and it's not real. Scroll down and look at it. Okay, just a couple of things when it comes to court documents, and I've seen a lot of these come across, and it's one of my things that I love to debunk. One, all court documents will have a seal on them. Not just an ordinary seal. They'll have a state seal that's raised.
It's embossed. It's a stamp in the paper.
And on top of that, you have to have the clerk of court signature and the judge signature on each sheet. I have not seen that on anything yet. Nothing. And there's just been nothing with any of that stuff on it anywhere.
You're saying this throughout, like, the United States, like every state has this, no matter what the court proceeding is. Well, that's false, because I have my family court proceedings sitting right next to me. I just printed them out, and the only place that the judge signed on it is that last page. Well, I signed it, the judge signed it, the other party signed it.
Maybe on that document he could, but any pages that have signatures on each page have to be signed.
The one, like, personally, my court proceedings, all signatures are on the last page.
Yeah, so that's how that document is. But
that's a
that's
civil
not
proceeding,
that's
though.
not
This
that's not
is a
court.
criminal proceeding.
And all the ones that you're talking about, I've seen them. They have spots for the signatures, and there is no signature. And on top of that, if you could find a signature, I guarantee you couldn't match it to a judge anywhere. So that's the problem with this, and it's way more than that. Anybody who had that on Trump would already came forward. This woman would have came forward and got billions of dollars just to shut her up. She didn't do that. None of that's even true. And then worse than that, the Democrats would have used it. There's no way anybody can say the Democrats would not have used this in Trump. And let's get even deeper into this. The two judges that are holding this stuff right now, one's a Clinton judge, one's an Obama judge. You don't think if they had something on Trump, they wouldn't use it? Really? And then his girlfriend, Griselle, came out and said he's never done anything or been there. And then his lawyer came out and said the same damn thing 3 days later. And the only documents they can find with his name on them were forged. They were in the middle of the letter instead of at the end of the flight log where your signature is supposed to be. I'm not saying he ain't never been out to the island. Lots and lots of people been there that weren't perverts. I mean, probably the majority of people went out there.
Killed lots of huge public parties.
But he's the guy when he started hitting on that guy at Mar-a-Lago. He's the one that banned him for life. He told him if he even ever came back to Mar-a-Lago, he'd have him arrested. So you think if Epstein had anything on Trump, he wouldn't have used it? So you have to look at this logically. You can't just go up whatever you see on the internet, because the internet's full of bullshit, and there's a lot of Trump haters out there. And there's a lot of people who I've seen lots and lots of false documents. Matter of fact, I've even turned in a few people on Facebook and seen them get kicked off because of it. Because that's actually against the law to produce fake documents. You can find yourself in jail for that. So the thing of it is I'm willing to entertain any documents. I've been doing documents for decades. It's not that hard a thing, but any court case like this that's either been dismissed or paid out or given out will have an official seal on it, and it'll have at least 2 signatures. Usually it's going to have the 2 signatures and maybe the defendant's signature.
Especially where they're going up for time. I mean, this is a criminal case. She's doing time. So almost every document that will bear any signatures would also bear an embossed stamp of the the notary of the county.
That's standard for any criminal case anywhere in the United States. That's just standard bullshit. It's just how it works, and that's how it's so easy to debunk these letters and these different things. Because I've seen lots of them. I've seen one that had 37 girls' names on it the other day. Came across my desk. I was like, you got to be shitting me, right? Half the girls I couldn't even verify that they existed. I was like, look at this crap. And, so the best thing you could do is find this girl and ask her yourself, say, hey, look, I seen this document. Is this true? And why ain't you suing Trump? Why ain't you going after him? I see Stormy Daniels sure got her money. Problem for people is, if you've ever seen Trump with his kids, you can tell that's not the kind of guy he is. He would probably hurt somebody if they did something like that to one of his children. He would probably put them in a deep, dark hole out in Area 51 and fill it with fucking concrete. I don't know. He just doesn't. He's just not that. That's not his type of personality. Being an asshole, no good bastard. Oh yeah, that's him.
He's good at that. Yeah.
And he's never, think about this, never in his entire career has he ever been accused of anything to do with children, ever. And then all of a sudden, somebody on the internet's got a document that the Democrat Party don't have. That should have told you something right there. Mm-hmm. The Democrat Party could get on any document that they thought was real like that. It would be on every ABC, NBC, MSNBC. It would be everywhere. Remember, they want to destroy this guy. News. And if they didn't think they would get in trouble over it, they would be using false ones, but they know they'll get in trouble over it, so they don't.
All I have to say is, if you're innocent, release the files and exonerate yourself.
He has nothing to do with the files. The only people that can release them files, I just told you that, is the Obama judge, the Obama judge, and the Clinton judge.
His own secretary, lady Pam Bondi, was talking about how she had them sitting on her desk, 10,000 files, how disgusting they were.
Them. She can, no, those were the porn files. That's a whole different thing. But she can't release them anyway. It's not in her purview. Only the courts can release them. And wait, it gets even worse than this. So you've got an Obama judge and a Clinton judge that won't release the documents. Wait, So the Senate, the Congress the other day says we're going to vote to get him released. So every Republican voted yes, both in the House and the Senate. And guess what? Every Democrat voted no. So you really think they got anything to do with Trump on there?
No, wait. Before they voted no, who was screaming the most to have the
Democrats were screaming the most, and then all of a sudden, when they gave them their way, they're like, no, stop.
Think about that.
So
Why would they scream for those files to be released, and then when they're about to be released, they vote no?
Yeah,
why?
They said stop.
Why?
And then, like I said, do you really think an Obama judge or a Clinton judge would take up for Trump? There's no fucking way. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, why would they?
Joe Biden would have released it just because he was running for president. If it was on there anywhere, even if he was just a visitor, he would have released it. So, well, we don't know, but we know he went out to the house of the island. But we can't tell you he was pervert, but he was out there. He didn't even release that. Yeah, you got to wonder what the fuck.
There's a video of one of Epstein's depositions, him being questioned and him admitting to the fact that he has spent significant time with Trump. He pled the fifth when asked.
Not on the island.
In public, in different places. At the Trump owned the Miss America.
Hundreds of hours of videotape and paparazzi photos and film of them both.
Yes, and it's not just him. Epstein spent a lot of time with Oprah. He spent a lot of time.
And why would he plead the fifth when asked if Epstein, if Trump ever spent time with underage girls?
Because he would incriminate himself.
Yeah, well, he would have had to say he was there with underage girls. You didn't get that, did you? That was a trick to get him to confess, is what that was, because nobody was going to think Trump was going to do it. Even the FBI and CIA, Joe Biden's own FBI and CIA, said no, we would not think he would even do that. They actually said that themselves. It's not even something they were trying to look for because they know he's not that kind of person. Besides that, they watch that motherfucker so tight, his ass squeaks, man. They've been watching him since 2016, and now we got the proof that they've been doing it. FISA court warrants, all kind of shit. Obama was spying on him all over, just looking for anything. Think about it. They had 5 different cases against him, trying to get his ass put in jail, and not one of them would mention the Epstein file. That's unheard of. Jack Smith, the guy who's out there, he's the general inspector, and he wouldn't have said something about it. Nah. If the Democrats had anything, you can trust me, they would have used it. Because look where they are right now. They're nothing. They've lost 3 million people in 2 years. The Republicans have gained 3 million. That's a $6 million and 6-person deficit. They've lost big people like Jean Liberty, the LSU guy, the girl who got all their money, all left. And you don't think if they didn't have something on Trump, they wouldn't be using it? Leah, you know you're smarter than that, baby. I know you're smarter than that because you can't think that the Democrats wouldn't use this against Trump. They would be blasting it all over. It'd be just like the Russia thing that we found out.
Oh, he would not have been president. He'd be in jail right now.
But I will say this: if the Clinton judge was correct, he said about 5,000 different people regular visited with Epstein at different places, and the problem is he can't release all those names because one, he said he knows it'll have a negative effect on all those people, even though they weren't there for the children, they just were there for the real estate and the business parties. But still, you were there. So the judge says he don't know how he's going to do that. He can't release anything with the victims in it. He already said he's not going to do that. And then they have a porn list. Get this. So Epstein had a porn list of everybody's favorite porn that would come to his island. And he would have it in his room waiting for him if they were into that sort of stuff. I guess that's how he found out who liked kids and who didn't. I don't know. And if he was blackmailing people, he was piss poor at it. Even though he was really rich and pretty quick. Maybe that's a lot of people said he was an Israeli spy, and then a lot of other people said he was a CIA spy. So if that was true, the CIA would have had any Americans. You want to know why that list isn't public? Because the majority of people on that list are not Republicans, Democrats, and the Democrat can't handle anymore.
And probably very important businessmen as well that are still alive.
So there's a lot of people in there that were definitely liberals, and if it comes out, it's going to already destroy what's already a destroyed party. That's why they refuse to let it out.
Well, I mean,
Sooner or
the
later,
other
they're
part
to.
is the victims, the underage victims. You know, they don't their names and information doesn't need to be out there either.
Well, see, that's what Congress wanted. Congress wanted them to give it to them, the courts to give it to them, and then they could sift through and and make sure that stuff that could be released, and other stuff couldn't be released. But then the judge said he don't really trust Congress because it leaks.
Yeah.
So he's scared that a Republican might leak if Bill Clinton's name was in there, or Obama, Michael Obama's name was on there or something.
Yeah.
Would it get leaked?
Absolutely.
And like he said, just because they were there don't mean they were there for the kids. So apparently we know Bill was there 27 times. There's 27 logs of him on the airplane. There's 18 logs of Obama on the airplane. There's countless other people with lots of trips to the INC. And somebody always says, well, Trump would. I said, no. I said, besides, if Trump's going to go out anywhere, whether it's to the condo in Florida, the island, to one of the houses in the Hamptons, he's going to fly himself. He has a big, beautiful plane.
He's got a huge.
He likes to fly around in. Yeah, as far as I know, the only time anybody ever seen him, it was him, his wife, and 2 kids. They were invited to some barbecue somewhere. I don't know if it was on the island or somewhere else, but that's the only time they can find that he spent any time with them outside of a social mixer in like New York or California or Florida. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty hard. I mean, it's the judges. The judges are basically saying there's nothing there. The lawyer's saying there's nothing there. His girlfriend's saying there's nothing there. The Democrats are basically saying there's nothing there because they don't have anything to release. I don't know why this is still a thing. It really bothers me that America is kind of, not that bright. What's that, Christopher? No, we got to go to break in a few minutes. Yes. Leah said she was going to play some kind of weird music. I don't know. Yes.
No, Leah's.
What do you mean? If tomorrow they come out and say, look, he was down there and they got some videotape with some children, I will tear his ass up from one end to the other from now to eternity. But right now, the evidence suggests that's not true. And what makes it even worse is these Democrats keep putting these pictures out where he's got this little blonde up next to him. He's hugging her all up. And when you look at it, anybody looks at it can realize it's his daughter. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's some videos out there with him at one of Epstein parties, and him and Epstein whispering to each other, and then some girl whispers in his ear, in Trump's ear. But the women in these videos were, clearly above the age of 18 at least, and people are like, giving him the, bad press about that. I mean, so what? He's at a party and people are whispering in each other's ear.
Well, they were giving him shit about he was down somewhere. He was down at the Miss American contest, and all the Miss American girls were standing back there. And they all look like they're fucking 16, 17. Yeah. They're all like 19, 20, 21. Mm-hmm. And they're sitting there talking to him. Yeah, sitting there talking to him, and the guy's like, I still remember the reporter said, see, look how he is. And the other reporter says, that's Miss America. Everybody is over the age of 18. And he's like, really? He said, yes, it's Miss America. Everybody's over the age of 18. And then he started going through the ages. Some was as old as 25, 26. So, I mean, and chasing young women, I'm not going to take that away from Trump. He's a dog. I mean, look at Melania. She's, 20 years younger than him.
She's she is just majestic. She is.
Yeah, really, she's our age.
She's a hottie patati, man.
She's sweet. She's one of the sweetest ladies out there.
I imagine when she gets him alone in the thing, she's not all that sweet, but she's like, you motherfucker, kick his ass. She's from one of them countries over there where women are known to have hot tempers. So,
look at her eyes, Joe. Look at her eyes.
Who was my favorite first lady? Oh, I don't know.
Melania.
Melania is hot and all, but I don't know if she's my favorite first lady. I mean, Nancy Reagan used to have the tarot cards read for her, so I said, that's a plus. Her husband was ruling the country on tarot cards. Thank God they had a good ruler. I mean, a good reader.
Well, you know what? Abraham Lincoln's wife used a psychic whenever he was in the presidency.
What's her name was changing the school system. She did pretty good. Who? Jill? No, I didn't. Jill showed her true colors when they were at, Biden had lost and Kamala had lost, and they were wherever they were at somebody's funeral or something. And she looked at like at Trump, like she could lick him from one end to the other end.
I remember that. I remember that.
I mean, the whole fucking country remembers that. Everybody was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" I mean, she did. She looked like she could just lick him from one side to the other side. He's a giant ice cream cone. I was like, "You got to be shitting me, girl." But the one that's been getting me is the EU woman because she was tearing his ass up. Now she thinks he's a giant ice cream cone, and she's all singing his praises and stuff. He's the only man that could have done this. He's changing the world. And then you got the CNN reporters going, "Oh my God, not only is he changing America, he's changing the world. Most influential president in 80 years. Oh my God, he even beat out Reagan." It's I don't know. I think that's the problem for the Democrats. Not only did they lose bad, but Trump in 8 months has done more than they did in 12 years. It's got to be hard on them. And they just keep losing people. But they're always on the wrong side of the fight. It's like the transgender fight. They're always on the wrong side. Yes, we should let children under 21 get sex operations. No.
Painful, expensive, irreversible operations.
No, that's just stupid. It's what did you just say? The trans population, how big? 10%. What fun country you live in?
Do you guys ever listen to Dave Chappelle?
Every once in a while,
not really.
You got to listen to his stand-ups
I catch
on the
him.
LGBTQ community.
It's well, you know, Leah's a trans. How many transvestites are in their country?
In what country?
In this country. In what
United
country?
States.
Let me look it up real quick.
Look up, because last I heard it was like 1% or something, 10%. I don't know, man. That's pretty high. I did hear though it had been going up, and in the Z-Geners, it's like 2%. I don't know why Z-Geners would be trans.
In the United States, 1%, nearly 2.3 million, identify as transgender.
Okay, and half of them are boys and half of them are girls?
Oh, I don't know. That's where we get into like what's what at that
what's
point.
What says.
Here's some highlights from this is the Williams Institute's study. 3/4 of people aged 13 and older who identify as transgender are under 35. Weird. 1/4 of individuals who identify as transgender are between 13 and 17. There's the problem.
This guy posts videos on
among
videos
transgender
videos
adults, roughly 1/3 identify as trans women, while 1/3 is trans men, and then 1/3 is non-binary.
Good. Are you guys okay? I see the problem in the Gaza Strip, and I see you guys getting. Yeah. No way, Brody. Everybody's okay though, and is it Kamish or Kamat?
Is that you listening to that, Joe?
You guys winning though. No
that ain't me. That must be Leah.
Question.
That's Leah putting something in there.
Do we have to push them out?
Leah, you know, when you see crazy people on the internet, you should invite them on the show, girl.
You're in the Gaza Strip right now?
No, I'm looking the guys on my
Say, we in the Gaza Strip. We'll give you free time in the Gaza Strip.
I don't know, Joe. There's enough crazy people on the show already, aren't there?
Yeah, but what the hell? It's a few more.
I
say invite them on.
Eugenio got a good question here.
What you got, Eugenio?
Any thoughts on children genital mutilation and what have you on a deeper level about allowing surgery modifications for small people to operate?
I'll be honest with you on this. First, I don't think any children should be mutilated anyway because they're children.
Yeah,
I think at the very least it should be 18, but I think 21. Now, I think they should offer counseling. I don't think they should force it, because counseling should always be offered for things that are outside the norm. Now, you shouldn't force it on anybody because it is their right to choose what they want to be. I am anti boys and girls sports. I'm sorry. I don't because see, Leah would just get up and punch this son of a bitch. And we'd be like, what happened? She said, ain't no boy going to be running out here with me. She just decked the asshole. But it's, she's ex-Marine, people. Why do you think I'm saying that? Yes. She'll pick up a club and beat you stupid. It's, you don't have to take my word for it. But in the end, I'm all for you making your choice. But once you're old enough to make a choice, I don't want you doing this at 12, and then all of a sudden it.
And what 5-year-old says, I feel like a girl? How do you know? I mean, you're 5, dude. Come on.
Yes, and in all fairness, if it was for playing with girls' clothes and Barbies and baking ovens, you know what? I'd have been trans because my sister's Easy Bake was great, and I used to blow up her Barbie dolls all the time. I'd put them in that little fast racing car. She'd flip the car, would roll it a couple of times.
We used to attack my sister's camp with our GI Joes and kidnap the good-looking Barbie dolls and take them back for funsies.
Yes,
come on, guys.
I'm just saying, hey, that's growing up as a boy.
That's how he grew up, dude. That's the way it was. I mean,
I was never around girls. I just had a brother.
Oh, well, I had brothers and sisters, but actually, when I was growing up, I only had a baby sister. When I got older, I had brothers and sisters. I have a sister right now who's well in her 80s, and a brother, and then I got a brother and sister that had been put up for adoption. And I don't never talk to the sister. She's like anti, wanting to talk to our family. And David, I talk to every once in a while. My brother, every once in a blue moon. But anyway, I don't. It's your choice. I mean, if you want to be gay or if you want to be trans, I mean, it's your choice. I mean, you're not forcing it on me. I don't care. But I will tell you this, you idiots: don't use they and them. Okay, schizoid, splitzoid people use they and them. Ask any psychologist when you refer to yourself as they or them, you might have a psychological issue. And yes, because that means you're schizoid, splitzoid. When you refer to yourself as more than one person, you're schizoid. Look, I didn't even make these rules. I'll go check for yourself.
Is it break time, guys?
It probably is. Who's they? Are you saying Michelle? Wait a minute. Let me get this right.
There, Joe.
Let me get this right. You just said Michelle DeRoche is schizoid day, right?
Oh my God!
Well, you know what? I will ask her. I'm going to send her your email, by the way, and I will ask her. And even though I talk to her quite often, I know she's not like that. What are you talking about? Who told you? Anyway.
It's time for break.
I'm going to start kicking some of you people off of Pal Talk. I can see it coming.
It's been a while since we've been on there. I don't even know if I still have an account on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start limiting the way I open those accounts over there because they're a little weird sometimes. Oh, you know what I want to play is Meditate. I don't know if I got it on my file right here. Let me see. Where is it at? I know I had it. What did I have? Jay, look up Meditate for me.
On what now? YouTube? YouTube
yeah,
music?
I guess, because apparently I'm not spelling it right or something. That's why, because I'm in the wrong place. Okay, never mind.
You get it? You got it?
No, I didn't get it. I got to get out of it.
What's the song again?
Meditate.
By who?
Hell if I know.
Well, I got Earth Gang, Big Crit, Noah Kahan.
The guy's like driving around in a car. He's got a little young girl riding around on a bicycle.
I don't know if it's going to tell me that.
You played that one already. I remember.
It's
Deep Sleep Meditation playlist.
Let me see.
Hey, you guys, I'm going to go to sleep.
See, we meditate.
Okay, Leah, thanks for popping in.
Thanks for arguing, Davey. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Man.
If you know who it's by, I can find it, but it's just giving me relaxing yoga music.
Oh, I should have thought about that. It's damn. Usually I have it right up here in the front, but I don't know where. I don't know what screen I was on when I did that. Not all these. Oh man. So I got a bunch. Did we play them last week or not? All these different Gruesome Newsome songs. There's like 7 or 8 of these Gruesome Newsome songs now. He thinks he's going to run for governor. Yeah, everybody's going to start playing these songs. He ain't going to run for crap. He really believes his own press. I was listening to him the other day, and I'm thinking, dude, you cannot actually believe your own press. I mean, you can't. I'm thinking, dude, you're on crack, and we're all feeling for you, but you're on crack. I mean, he just I'm listening to him the other day. He's going on and on and on and on, and I'm thinking, wow, dude, stop. You're a retard or something along the retard. He just wouldn't. He acts like so what he's doing is he's trying to be like Trump.
And who's doing this now?
Gruesome Newsom.
Oh, Newsom is.
Yeah, he's trying to be like Trump. And I was like, get out of here. So he's yelling and using cursing. Oh, it's by Theory RX, but I found it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll show you in a minute when I put it up. Hopefully we don't get kicked off for it. It's do drive me home like a crazy person. Sean's a crazy person. I'm the only sane one in here. What are you talking about? The rest of these people are just crazy.
I'm just going to say, why not play I Touched Myself by the Divinals?
Whoa, man. We ain't touching nothing now. We don't want to know about these kind of things. There's some things
you ever hear that
know about.
I think we hit enough touchy subjects tonight, Sean. We don't need to get ourselves banned from YouTube and everywhere else.
Yeah, and everywhere else at that moment. So wait, let me turn this song on. What's up there? Okay. Yeah, Theory RX is the name of the group. This is for all you druggies out there, especially ones living out in LA.
I've heard this before.
Oh, it was real popular for a while.
Yeah.
I see Superman on high, down right to the back.
I did cookies, you know. Very good time.
This is the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 in the Gulf Coast. UPRN talkradio.com. Esoteric.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to The Chat with Joe, Jay, and Sean, and whoever else pops in and out, man. Yeah, sounds good to me. Welcome back, everybody. I hope y'all having a good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on our big, beautiful, blue fucking planet. Yes, Terra. Yes, we love it, Terra. Yeah, you see, somebody named it Terra, and now it's like Terra. Yes, I know it's spelled two different ways, but still, man, it's Terra. Or Soul 3, whatever you actually Sol 3, I'm sorry, before I get corrected. It's yes, there's another name for that. I can't think of it right now, but there's another name besides that. Besides Earth, if anybody writes Earth to me. Hey, we live on Earth, Joe, man. You know Earth, man. That flat thing in space, man, One big continent, Pangea, man. We haven't been to the fucking moon. Yeah, you know what? Kiss my motherfucking ass right here on national worldwide fucking TV. How's that? And I see, just because of that, I'm going to have to change the rating of this show when I put it up and monetize. I don't, I can't even tell you, Joe, the Earth is flat, man. Can't you tell? I'm like, no. Joe, you don't fall off when you don't run off when you're flying in a plane because the Earth is really fucking big. My little plane flying from New Orleans to LA. What do you mean it's going to curve? Why would it have to curve, man? You do realize you track across like this. I'm not even going to try to explain it. So I'm going to tell you all this again. Since most of you are too fucking poor to get up in the sky and take a look around for yourself, go stand on the edge of the ocean and look. If you don't see the arc, I don't know what to tell you. You're on fucking crack. It's what do you mean? How do I know for sure? I said, I'll tell you how I know for sure. So I used to be in this thing called the Navy, and my squadron used to get flown in and out every once in a while. So we had just got in a new squadron of F8 FA-18s. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And my pilot decides, let's see how high this thing can go. No, I'm sitting on shitting y'all. That's not my first time in a fighter jet because every now and then they like to take the people who worked on them out and fly them sometimes just to let them know, hey, this is your life as much as it's my life. You know what I mean? And because they roll you, and it didn't bother me, man. It's like being on a Disney ride. But anyway, so we're flying. He says, I thought this plane wasn't supposed to go over like 50,000 feet. We're at 68,000 feet. I'm like, what? This is like the canopy going to crack on this thing or something. So I'm looking straight out. It is just stunning. So you can start to see this hazy blue big just curve. Now at 80,000, you can actually see the whole curve. But from where it was one of the most beautiful things. Made me wish I could go into space. It was just unbelievably beautiful. And there's no doubt that the planet's round. I don't want to be the one to tell you all that. What do you mean if we're spinning so fast it would throw us? No, that's the point. We're spinning so fast it keeps us here. Yeah. If it slows down, Andy, guess what? We're going to go floating off somewhere.
No. We're not going to go floating anywhere. The planet is spinning at, I think, 18,000 miles an hour. If it stops dead all of a sudden, like on a dime, we're going to get thrown off at 18,000 miles an hour.
I actually thought it was
There's no recovery from that.
It's insanity out there.
It's a chocolate covered pretzel.
It's
There's my fifth right here. It's my fifth.
What's that, Gene? No, I'm checking right now because I thought it was faster than that too, but
it's fast.
It's hauling ass, whatever it is. No, it'll tell me in a minute. Just calm down, people. It's not like the world's coming to end. Let's see. Well, we spin. Okay, just so I don't confuse anybody. This planet spins like this, and then it also goes like this. Okay, and wait, on top of that, the thing it's in also goes like this. Yes, it gets complicated. So the Earth is spinning around on its axis.
Miles per hour. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
how much you said?
1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. So it's spinning like this, and then it's spinning like this. I forgot how fast it's going, like maybe 63,000 miles an hour. So I might have to look it up to be sure. Jake can look it up and see. So that's going around our sun.
It says here, about 1,000 miles per hour. The Earth revolves around the sun at a rate of about 67.
Oh, no. So which one, how fast do we spin on our axis? That's what I'm looking for.
And at about the same time, Earth rotates around its axis at about 1,000 miles per hour at the equator.
Okay, that doesn't make sense. If it's both the same speed, that sounds like something.
The two different searches I found came up with those answers.
Yeah, I've seen a couple myself. It's so the planet is a weird thing. So anyway, we're spinning this way, and then we're spinning like this, and then on top of that, the solar system is moving around.
Also moving through the galaxy.
Yeah, while moving around, and then the galaxy itself is moving. Yes, so everything's fucking moving. Yeah, so the galaxy's like galaxy's basically a big solar system. It's just spinning and churning and moving around, going in a circle. Inside of that, our galaxy, okay, which is one of many, is doing the same thing. And inside of that is our solar system doing the same thing. And inside that solar system is us. Here's one for y'all. 66,000, 60, can't get this out. 66% of all galaxies spin clockwise. I know, and scientists are like, what? Why? I'm kind of with the scientists. Why? And I thought it would be higher, so I'm a little confused myself. It's what I call useless information that you just
because part of the universe spins the other direction. We don't know why.
Yeah, and we don't understand why.
So the same reason why half of the Earth, the water goes down the drain one way, and on the other half of the Earth, the drain goes down the drain the other way.
So there's only 34% spins the other way. What do you mean? What are you talking about? No, Jay knows exactly what he's talking about. So if you live in the northern hemisphere and you flush your toilet, it goes shh. If you live in the southern hemisphere and you flush your toilet, it goes shh.
So the opposite direction.
Yes, it does. It's because of the way the Earth is.
Here's how you can prove it to yourself. Go to your bathroom sink, plug it up, fill it up with as much water as you can. before you take the plug out, make it go in the opposite direction than it normally goes and see how long it lasts. As soon as you pull the drain, it almost instantly stops and goes the other way. You can't make it go the other direction. And you go to the other side of the earth, it rotates the other direction, and you can do the same thing. You try to make it go the opposite direction before you open the drain, and it will automatically.
And you know where I actually learned that? On the USS Nimitz.
Yep.
When we crossed the equator, they had some big speech come on, commanders telling us all kind of stuff. I'm like, okay.
Don't flush the toilets until we cross the line.
It was I don't know, it was weird. It was one of those stupid things that you got to kind of go, what the hell was that all about? No, so you send your list of stuff to Santa Claus. You send your money to me though, okay? And you send the list to Santa Claus up there on the top of the screen. Yes.
We're gonna have a Santa Claus show.
On we will when we get closer to the holiday, we will.
Yep. Absolutely.
We'll do a couple of them.
Absolutely. Oh, Joe, I'm going to throw this out to you now, since there's 3 million people listening to us right now. Friday, October 31st, the guy is going to be holding a public investigation at the Carnegie Library in Homestead, PA. And he was asking me, is it possible to do a live show that night?
Probably. What night is it? I mean, what day is it?
It's a Friday night.
Friday night.
I guess we could give up our time slot, and depending on what time it was, we could talk to Jeffrey. You know, Jeffrey might give us a big fat bird finger too, but you know, he is a liberal after all, and liberals aren't happy right now. That's why I've been leaving him alone. I want to pick on him because I know he's not happy.
He is suffering.
Yes, it's hard. He's the kind of liberal that this is actually hard on. It's probably harder on what's her face, but still, what's her face?
Do they talk about that on the show, Jay?
Yeah, he talks about it.
Yeah.
He's not shy about politics. He comes on with us. He's come on with us before on the political shows. Well, for the elections. I thought he was gonna have an orgasm last year. So you know, shit. It's always rough when you're doing a political countdown show like that because you just never know. Is it gonna be your guy? Is it gonna be the other guy? It's a rough. Somebody's gonna lose that night. You know that because we're not like CNN. You know, or MSNBC, where everybody's pulling for the same person. You know, we have different hosts on our network, and we even have Canadians on our network pulling for one another. So
people who can't even vote.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch. I think there were 6 of us. The most we've ever had on a political night was 9. I think it was 6. I want to say it was 6 this year. What do you mean, Michelle? Michelle could come, but she don't have no dog in this hunt.
Yeah.
Michelle can come any show she wants, anytime she wants. She's the manager of the station.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be in the boss. Yeah, anyone, anytime. It's entirely up to on this one. Yeah, she can come on this one anytime she wants. Oh, I don't know how she could last with the 3 of us, but you know, and I'm fixing to bring in a 4th because we need a 4th. It's well, okay, guys, real quick, because this is for both of these shows, a new show and this one. We're looking for 2 hosts. Could be 2 females, could be a male and a female. All I ask is if you're going to be doing for News on the Flip Side that you know your politics pretty good. That's all I ask. You can argue all you want. That's the nature of the show. On this show, just be willing to just chit-chat about anything at any time. Yeah, you know. Like, how come your mama's got big ones like this and you got little ones like this? I mean, shit like that comes up sometimes.
Food porn.
You know? Oh, Amelia was sending me food porn yesterday at Huzzy. It's a good thing she didn't come in tonight. I was going to give her shit about it, but she didn't come in tonight. It's, she sent me a couple of good things. I was like, God damn it. Because what happens is she sends me stuff and I just ate or something, so I ignore it. Sometimes I'm hungry already, and she sends me stuff. I'm like, you bitch.
Yeah, it's worse when they know you're hungry. They send you the good stuff.
Yes. Amelia? Yes, I call Amelia bitch. I love Amelia. She knows who I am. Yes, no. Amelia and I have a good relationship. Oh, I wish she'd come back full time, but when she's ready, she's ready. You mean with this show? She might come on the show as long as we don't talk about politics. She likes to drop in and
Oh no, dude. She gets into politics, dude.
Oh, she does, but that's in the chat. That's not on air. Her boss would choke her out if she did. So mean is yeah, she ain't that mean. It's but no, she make a great addition to this show. She knows her stuff about a lot of stuff, and she likes to talk.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, she knows she's invited. It's not even a thing. No. Well, if you think you could,
we should have her do a cooking show one Saturday night. Seriously.
Yeah.
Have her,
we could do a 4-dish show where everybody cooks one dish and then has to show everybody what their dish is. It'd be like you were going to cook together and everybody was going to eat together.
Yeah.
She's a good cook. Yeah, no, she is. So anyway, getting back to extraterrestrials instead of food, because I don't want to get hungry, and because
too late.
Sean said something about slapping Jay around, so I'm not sure we're going to move on now. So so first off, last night we brought up Sirius, whatever it's called, which is supposed to be the largest body in the asteroid belt. It has an energy source. They don't know what kind of energy, but it seems like it's been there for a long time, they're saying. And they seem to think it might have spawned extraterrestrial life. The word extraterrestrial, not human life, but extraterrestrial life. So are you telling me these aliens that come here and haunt us and aggravate us all the time came from some rock in the middle of the asteroid belt? Which,
technically, if it's within our solar system, it can't be extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial means extrasolar or extrastellar. So it would have to be, what would they call it?
Illegal aliens.
It would be intraterrestrial.
No, it'd be illegal aliens. That's what they
intraterrestrial discovery.
I think it would just be aliens. They're just aliens if they're from the solar system.
It could be that too, yes.
I mean, there's anything alien to us is alien. Let's just be honest about it. So, you mean Atlas? I don't see the thing. Look, we followed Muhua, whatever the hell the name of the place. Muhua. We followed this closely, and then they said there were signals being sent. We tracked all of this stuff, all of it, and you can go back and listen. We've done shows about it, but first off, they said she turned around, so we went and looked, and there was things showing she turned around, all kind of stuff. We're talking about Muhua, and then no, NASA says no, she's headed out away pretty soon. We were not even going to be able to see her. Okay. Well, that was some bullshit. And not only did they say she had turned around, but she was bringing things back with her.
Yeah. She picked up some other debris.
So then we find out, okay, well, maybe that's not true. And then there was a signal. Now, the signal was interesting because it was like, oh, no, yeah, no. And then all of a sudden, there's no, we didn't pick up a signal. But then yet, some of the other groups are still kind of like, no, yeah, we did pick up a signal.
Okay, so, yeah, but we also mentioned that the Black Knight satellite changed position. So how much in relationship to that signal, that alleged signal, did the Black Knight satellite change orientation?
Well, that's another thing now. NASA said Black Knight. What's the Black Knight? So I think originally somebody panicked and put that out there from NASA. And of course now NASA's got to backtrack because they're not supposed to even know about the Black Knight satellite.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it sounded like the little bit I can glean from some of these scientists that swear that we got this signal is that it doesn't look like it was directed to us. Even though they picked up what they would consider something to do with the gold record, something to run the recordings off of it, they picked it up like this thing had at one point gone past it, which it probably did. And I remember something held it for a little while, it didn't move, and then it was like running better, and then it was released, and then it went on to a different direction actually. And so that maybe it encountered it then. But it seems like this signal was directed somewhere else. Was it directed at Atlas? I don't know. They haven't said. Or was it directed deep in space somewhere to let them know that, hey, look.
Black Knight.
I don't think it was directed at Black Knight because of the way the way they talk about it. So this is okay. What we got here? This is planet Earth. Oh shit! It could be flat planet Earth. Okay, this is planet Earth. This is Oumuamua is out here, and then but Oumuamua is like actually over here. So it was the signal was sent like this. One of our satellites picked up the signal and transmitted it back to Earth. So this satellite was not directed to anything around Earth. It was directed to maybe Atlas or deep space. Now, from where they said this thing came from, we're talking a signal at light 1 billion years. I mean, maybe there's some relay stations or something, but anyway, it goes. Seems like it's going to be a long time before it gets there. By that time, no telling what our evolution will be here. But then here, all of a sudden, here comes Atlas. Oh no, Cliff. Oumuamua was the first one. There was something that came in between, but it was just like a rock or something that came in between.
Yeah.
And then here comes the Atlas. I did see the picture with the thing standing on top of it. That was Sean and Jay. I don't know why they had to go do that. I told them, don't beam over to the rock. You're just going to cause trouble. They just couldn't. They just had to go over there, stand up there. But anyway, I've seen those pictures. I don't know. That rock is going pretty fast. I'd have to look it up to see how fast it goes, but it's going pretty fast. And, maybe it's got a shield around it. Doesn't really look like it does, but it's not acting like a normal comet, I'll tell you that much. But and it is on the plane of the ecliptic, which is odd, but it's not impossible. That's the first thing scientists said. Well, it's very odd, because it looks like a trajectory to pick up speed. So that's the other thing. People keep saying it's coming to Earth, but this thing is on a trajectory to pick up speed to get out of the solar system. Like, oh shit, there's humans here. We didn't know there's anything alive here. Let's get the hell out of here. We don't know what kind of technology, guys. Let's get the hell out of here. And so that's looking like it's how it's traveling, unless it's going to get on the side of the sun, slingshot back around and ram into our planet or something.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it's Atlas or I think it's the Apophis anomaly heading towards us. That when it comes between the satellite ring and the Earth, there's a certain target. If it hits that target,
it's coming back. Yeah.
When it swings back around in 2029, it'll strike the center of the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah. So he's talking about there's an area. So this thing's going to come in pretty close. It's not going to be in our atmosphere, but it's going to be like in the what do they call it? Where the microgravity is. It's going to be up in that area. So there's a spot, a sweet spot they call it. If it hits it, and it's only about a 20% chance it's going to hit it, maybe even a little less. But if it does, it's going to slam its ass into the middle of the Pacific Ocean at ungodly, I don't know, I think it's 74,000 miles an hour or something. And it's not exactly a little bitty rock.
And there isn't shit we can do about it.
Now, maybe if Russia and United States and China blowed off all their nukes at one time, I'm still not. Well, I guess we
Welcome
back, Heidi.
One large falling object and making it turn into many falling objects.
Yes, but smaller ones, a lot of those will burn up to even smaller pieces.
That might help, yes.
Yeah, so, Apophis, I thought it was like a couple of miles across. I'd have to go look up and see. I didn't think it was all that small of a rock, though. I know when they said if it slammed into the ocean.
I think Apophis is large enough to hurt. Yeah, definitely.
I know when they said it slammed in the ocean, it would probably be the end of the Chinese West Coast and the American East Coast would just be flattened. Yeah, I can only go by what they're saying.
Yeah.
But that's the closest danger to us right now, unless Atlas changes course or something. The course it has right now has it cruising across these 3 planets, picking up speed, and then zinging out past our sun. Doesn't look like a slingshot or anything. It just looks like it's going out. It's like it's designed to get faster and faster. Matter of fact, both these pieces look like they're because remember, Oumuamua picked up speed twice and changed course twice. So it was also where it could catch our sun and be pushed out even faster. So it's cruising. They're trying to whatever these things are. I don't know if they know we're here and they're just trying to get away, or if somehow or another nature put them on this course to go even faster to somewhere else.
Yeah, but natural objects don't normally speed up, nor do they normally change course.
Yeah. The Oumuamua was very interesting, but it was much smaller than the Atlas one. Even though it was decent size, it was much smaller than that. The Atlas, well, they were saying 20 kilometers in the beginning, which is about 12 miles, but I think it's around 6.5 miles is what they're saying now, but it's just still big. I'm not, I don't know how big the one that was that ended the dinosaur was, but this is still big. 6 miles is still big.
The one that ended the dinosaurs, the Chicxulub event, is what they expected made that hole. Is a rock roughly the size and volume of the state of Texas.
Well, see, that's a big ass rock. Yeah, that's
huge. Yeah, it's like Mount Everest landing on the planet.
You mean like a 6 mile rock? If it hit New York or Beijing or anywhere, no, it'd flatten it. It'd make it. Yeah. Oh no, it'd flatten it. It'd make it look like a nuke. Like, oh no, it'd make a nuke look childish compared to this. Well, that's why we put those
a rock
rods
simply twice the size of that which killed the dinosaurs, the Texas-sized rock. A rock that big, if it hit the Earth, would hit it with such impact that it would sterilize the planet, meaning that the planet would probably never recover and have an atmosphere or life ever again.
Well, it depends. I mean, this one we survived.
It depends. Yes, it depends. But the rock twice as big as that would essentially sterilize the planet for a very, very long time.
Yes, or one twice the size of Texas. Yeah, that would be like a little mini collision there. Well,
it might even turn the planet back to molten, to like proto-planet state.
They could do it. They could actually do that, or it could trigger just all the action where only small pockets existed. But the skies would be so dark, and there'd be so much stuff, and the water would be polluted, the air would be polluted. I don't know. It'd be really tough to live.
Might be years of constant volcanic activity.
What you might see is in 100,000 years a nice, lush green planet with no animals.
Yeah.
That's hey, it's anything is possible. Well, right now, what do you think Elon wants to get to another planet? Elon wants to get a base on the moon. He wants to get a base on Mars. He's talking about.
Well, he has to get a base on the moon in order to get the base on Mars.
Well, no, actually, he's going to bypass it. So look, he's bypassing. So he's bypassing the base on the moon. He's going to let NASA. He's going to give NASA the rockets to go do it. He said, but he doesn't have time for it. So he's going to let NASA start establishing that. He's going to start flying from here, but eventually, because he's planning on having 75 going each way immediately, somewhere along the line, he's going to establish a launching spot in zone L11, like a platform or something where they can stop off, refuel, do things like that.
Rest area.
That'll be a reason why the moon base needs to be in order so they can bring fuel out there. Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to be designing his rockets soon to be running on helium-3. Or, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it's going. Well, we're going to start.
He doesn't already have them designed and built.
Yeah, we're going to probably start processing helium-3 over the next 3 years, maybe 4 years. But we can't let China get that far.
Do we have any on Earth now, or do we have to go get it?
We have. So this is dumbass humans. So we have some stuff, a bunch of dust we collected while we were doing the Apollo missions, which turns out to be helium-3. That's how we found out what it was. Not because we went to the net because we were running around the moon, because we brought back stuff that had it in it. So Ching 4, which is the fourth probe that China's put on the backside of the moon, says they have found a bunch of it. And since no one can own anything on the moon, it's just a matter of getting the equipment there to get it off. Well, America is a much better mining culture than China is, but China's learns really fast. They don't play around. So I would really start to say within 5 years you'll start to see a pretty intense mining. So what's going to happen is who can establish the base on the moon first, because that's where you're going to want to refine this stuff.
Yeah.
Why send it back to Earth unrefined? And that's just more pollutants. Refine it there. Send it back to Earth. Yeah, send it back. It's very stable stuff. Send it back to Earth. They'll use it for fusion reactors, and away we go. We'll have fusion power to get our ships in space and get them where we want to go. We'll be able to get to Mars in probably 30 days. So we'll really be changing things up. It'll allow us to get out. Once we're to Mars, it'll allow us to get out in the asteroid belt, which is right there, in just a couple of days. They'll probably put some kind of base on Siri. And then they'll be looking to put stuff around Jupiter and Saturn. And away we go. Further we go. Eventually, we'll have stuff out in the Oort cloud. Within 100 years, the solar system will be pretty well have people living all over the place.
I would say by the end of this century, we would be 100% within the Oort cloud, within the confines of the Oort cloud. We would be 100% mining everything we can mine that's floating around Sol.
So Santa Claus, you better fucking pump up your sled, buddy, because
Yeah,
you know
we will be 100%
Oort cloud's
commercialized
not
by the end
exactly
of this
around the corner.
century.
Yep.
It's so the way, you know, I talked with Michio Keiko. He was so, this was such an interesting conversation. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's still available on YouTube somewhere. So the conversation, we started talking about, you know, how you're going to get places and how would aliens get places. And he was telling me about, oh, you know, it's hard to break this barrier and this barrier. I said, well, let's say that you're an extraterrestrial race. Let's say that you're 200 million years old or 500 million years old. So you left your planet, you start establishing colonies here and there and here and there and here and there, and you just kept on going. So now you've crossed the entire galaxy. I said, because at that time it was only 100,000 light years. Now it's 160. I said, you've now crossed it three times.
It contracts and expands. So I think the actual.
Well, no, that they added. They added another ring. Yeah, they added another ring. So
no, I know, I understand that, but it's still, as I understand it, it contracts and expands, kind of the way we do apogee and perigee orbits around stars and stuff. So I think that the actual width is like 70,000 to 160,000 light years across.
Yeah,
that's pretty significant tract of land.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know most of the time lately it's been coming up, but anyway, it's funny. So, so if you crossed it at 3 or 4 times at over 100 million years or so, you've now crossed the galaxy. So you've got things all over the place. You've got a little station here, a little port there, a little colony here, a little planet here. You know, you've been steadily doing all of that. And I said, Mitchell, they don't have to go from their home planet to here anymore. They just have to go to maybe from Proxima Centauri or something and jump over here. I said, for us, it'd be 4 years. For them, probably just a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then they're here. And then they do whatever they're going to do, and they may stay here. They may have a base here. They may have something else in our solar system, or they may pop back from wherever they were, wherever outside of our solar system they were. I said, but odds are they have something by close. And he said, I didn't think about it. I said, yeah, it's a stepping stone. I said, we're going to do the same thing. I said, we're going to put a base on the Mars and a launching platform, then a base we'll put a base on the moon and Mars, and then we're going to just start going outward. And I said, and the best part is we'll be to Proxima Centauri in less than 100 years, or maybe 110 years, but it's going to be not going to take us that long, because once we're in the Oort cloud mining and doing stuff, we'll put a decent platform out there. You're going to have ships stop there, refuel, let people rest because they've been in the ship for a couple of months, you know, off of different zones, and then launch from there halfway to Proxima, set up a base, you know, refuel and place another place of rest, and then from there hit it. You're only a year away, not even a year away, and just next thing you're in Proxima solar system doing whatever the hell you're going to be doing there. It's going to be different for us until we invent faster and light travel, but it's going to be different. But the problem for me is I don't think they're going to ever want to go faster than 50% light speed because of the time differentials. You know,
well, aren't there going to be time differentials even at half speed? I mean, you're still going to.
Yeah, but they're not going to be the same. It's not the same thing. It's not.
It's between 50 years and 100 years. I mean,
no. It's not like that. I forgot how they explain. I talked to Mitchell and Neil deGrasse Tyson about this, and the way they were explaining it is that when you slow down that much, it's the cause or the effect isn't as much. It's not. It doesn't double or triple or quadruple. It seems to be maybe a third or 20. In other words, say it's a 4-year trip. So maybe 20 years have passed on Earth. Where if you're going real close to light, it's going to be more like 200 years passed on Earth. It gets the faster you go, the more intense it gets. Don't ask me, people. I didn't write this. You got to go back and get on Albert Einstein. I didn't write none of this. That's his work. Well, they say if we get right to the very edge of light speed, it's literally time on Earth is just by the time you get back, you won't recognize anything, even if it's the same planet. It'll have evolved 10,000 years. And because remember, it's not just the time going; it's the time coming back. Yeah, they're not just aging when you're going out; they're also aging when you're coming back. So if it's a 4-year trip one way, it means it's an 8-year trip entirely at light speed. I don't know.
Okay.
You're going to come back to a world that you just don't understand what it is.
I'm going to throw this out to my friends who are geeks who love Star Trek. Okay. And I just had a thought while I was listening to Joe, okay, about light years. Let's just say there was an episode of Star Trek where they would beam people up, right? Or, have this little machine in their hand. Say, like Captain Kirk is billions and millions of light years away. And would he not come back as an old man?
No, because it's all instantaneous. Matter of fact, they had episodes like that.
Yeah, there's an episode called "The Deadly Years" where they can Spock, Scotty, Kirk, and McCoy all and a few other landing party members catch a disease that makes them age rapidly. And the younger you are, the faster you age, and the quicker you die from this virus. So Dr. McCoy and Spock are a little lucky in that respect. They are able to stay alive longer to find a cure, but they become 80-year-old men.
But see, they got the ones where he's fighting, teaching the girls teaching him how to fight. They took him to the other side of the cosmos, and the ship. By the time the ship got over there, he should have been older, but he wasn't. It's and there's other times where they've been pulled back in time around the earth, stopping us from blowing shit up and stuff, or stopping aliens from trying to blow shit up.
Well, they go back to 1960s Earth twice, once by accident, and they encounter a fighter pilot whose ship they destroy with the ship's tractor beam. Blows up his ship. So then they go backwards. They go backward. They go backwards in time to escape. Then they go forwards in time to go back home. And on the way, they drop all their people that they picked up from that time back into their real respectable places as they were encountering them. So it was like they were never there. It was pretty neat how they did that episode. And the other one is they go and they encounter Gary 7, which was going to be a spin-off TV show. But he was sent by the gray aliens from another part of the galaxy to stop a certain test, because it was a nuclear test and it actually goes awry and it kills like hundreds of people and it starts a war. So it was very good.
They when you get into sci-fi, there's not much they haven't done 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times.
Really, yeah.
I mean, the boy. I mean, yeah. Well,
if they're going back, then they wouldn't be alive. They weren't even born.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those paradox things.
Yeah, it's called the paradox effect. So you can actually go back. You can actually go back in time and be your own daddy. You can be yourself. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this.
That's the grandfather paradox.
Let me ask you this question for the both of y'all, even the people in the chat and out there listening. Would you want to go back in the past to change something, that you did wrong, or would have put you on a different path? Would you want to do that?
That's iffy skiffy stuff there, man.
Well,
if you learned a lesson, from it, no. If I did a fatal mistake, I might go back. But something that I did wrong that I learned a mistake from, no, you don't go back and teach because you learned something from that.
Going back and changing something may make you feel better, may make somebody else feel better. But what happens long term? Is it something that's going to be good, or is it going to cause some other domino effect that makes the planet blow up or shit? It's or makes your life blow up. It's I don't know. It gets weird. It's just I guess if you had the ability to time travel, you could go back and test each one though.
Yeah.
Because you could fix the other one, say no, don't go there and do that, and do that. It's
yeah, you can let it go back and tweak it and change different things.
But the problem is if everybody had that ability, the planet would just be a mess.
I like what Heidi wrote. Lesson learned. Check. Next.
Yep.
That's pretty much what it is.
I wouldn't want to go back.
Well, because people ask me all the time, would you go back and save someone from being killed like Kennedy? I'm like, Well, no, because Kennedy was about to start World War III. So I'm like, no. I mean, he had some things, but he was not. His ego might have started World War III. Churchill, well, no, I think it was time for Churchill to go. Lincoln, that's another one gets asked me. Would you save Lincoln? I don't know.
Yeah.
How would it have affected the Union? Would you have ever got the South under control with Lincoln as president? By Lincoln dying, it might have made it easier for the two to merge back together. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Well, some of the speculation is that what would have happened to the United States had he not been assassinated. And he had 3 ideas for dealing with the African American slaves. One was to scoop them all up and dump them in Cuba. Another was to find a space somewhere like Indian reservation territory and rope it off and dump them there. And then the other one was to ship them back to the West Indies, where they all came from.
No, I guess he died. None of those came to be.
He hadn't died. Maybe one of those things.
I'm playing Leah now. Well, let me ask you another question. Okay. If someone gave you the results of a horse race, all the results and all the payoffs for the next day, would you go and bet?
Bet your ass I would.
I bet you would, Trey. I guarantee it. You'll get up to that counter or up to the betting window and you'll doubt yourself.
See, that would all depend on who gave it to me, why they gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be asking all those questions. Well, why'd you just give me this? And how many years am I going to burn in hell for this? No, see, I think about that kind of stuff. I'd be like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of scary about this kind of stuff. Well, I've had opportunities in life to take shortcuts to make money. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But
there are people that say that horse racing is a rigged sport to begin with. So if you're given the results beforehand, it's probably going to be from the mob.
Well, you know what else is dog racing? That's even fixed.
That's definitely mob related.
The dog racing?
Oh yeah, you bet any kind of betting. Especially when it comes to animal racing, horse racing, dog racing, I guarantee. Oh, and in Florida, Highline, very, very highly mob affiliated sport.
But
and there's gambling involved in that too.
You know how you can? There's 2 ways that they cheat. They'll get say like the dog is black, they'll find another black dog, all right, and put it in its place. But here's the number one thing. If they give the dog warm milk before a race, it really affects their stomach and they can't run.
I'd be like, oh well, dog, you're out of the thing. Well, in the old days, when you'd go to bet your horses, you could walk through the stables and look at the horses yourself just before the race.
Yeah,
you could touch them, do all sorts of things. Because I remember, I think
the same is true of the dog races to a certain degree. But yeah, I mean, the fact is though that the dog races, I don't think they can make fake as easily. But there's probably something like the milk trick that makes the dog not run as fast, or he gets sick because he's got warm tummy full of milk and he throws up halfway through the course. But the horse racing, you put paid men on top of those horses, you can definitely rig that. I mean,
dude. I mean, I was down the meadows, and I'm going to share it since we're on the chat. And there was this horse that was the best. I mean, that was a very, very good horse. Could not lose this race, right? And so they're coming around the start, and these are trotters, okay? And you can literally see the jockey pull back on the reins to make that go off track. And he came in last.
Yeah.
They call it breaking.
Horse racing is rigged, dude. I'm telling you.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. So is the casinos. They're rigged.
Well, everything's got a rig. I mean, they got to make their money, man. I mean, come on. If they don't make their money, why bother? I mean, I want to make my money. It's It's like when the casinos first came here, I met a bunch of people who worked, and they said, on weekdays go between midnight and 2 a.m. It's the best time to gamble. The machines are full. They'll pay the most. Come to find out that was true. And 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. on the weekends. Come to find out that was true. My wife and I gambled a lot there. Won a lot of money. And then they showed you ways to check for the turnover rate on the spin wheel because you could see it on the side. Eventually, they took care of all that stuff. And I found, once they realized what was going on, the late night stuff, there's nothing they could do about because the machines were simply had been turned that much. So the odds of winning went. I mean, one night we were on the Copa, it was a little boat, and we were just playing slots upstairs. We were playing quarters and $half, and we must have hit 14 jackpots between us. We got on a row back to back, to 2 rows, and we hit one in each machine back to back. The guy came out and said, "What are you cheating?" I said, "I'm sure you're watching this on the camera." He said, and then we split the sides and went down each side of the boat upstairs and started. When I went and sat down and started drinking, and every machine I played, I was hitting on. The lady was like, she said, "We were really busy today," and I said, "Well, none of them were big jackpots. $600 here, 500 here, 4,000 here. I mean, it was decent win. I mean, the whole night, I think I think it was 16.5. Linda took like 21.5, and I was so drunk by the end of the night. But that's how I got hooked on casinos. She would never go to a casino. I took her to go to Bonanza to the big buffet to eat one night. Fabulous buffet.
Oh yeah.
Well, on the way out, she dropped 75 cents in a red, white, and blue machine and wins a fucking car. Win the car. That was it for her, man. We went and picked it up. And the best part about it was she starts playing, and we both playing on these, I don't know, it was like gold, silver, bronze machines. We won another $6,000 so we could pay the taxes on the car. It was almost like it was a setup to pay the taxes. And took the car home. Taxes were only $2,000, so we were happy. Brand new car. She was loving it. She was one of the luckiest people. I guarantee you, each year she was up at least $40,000. I don't know how she did it. She was just lucky. I'm going to play this computer on this machine. I'd come back, and the little light would be spinning. I'm like, what the hell? I tell you what, though, it's a little sad story for y'all. A good friend of mine, Tuesday Miles, calls me one night. Said, "Y'all going to the casino?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Where are you going?" I told her what casino. She said, "Go get on the Wheel of Fortune game." She said, "There's only 6 chairs. They get all the way to the right, and be sure you're there between 9 and 11 p.m." I said, "Okay." Well, we got there. About 9:20. Some girl was just sitting there. We couldn't get her off the machine for nothing. She's playing 10 o'clock hit. She won $650,000. I was like, I said, "Tuesday, next time tell me a machine where there's not somebody fucking sitting there." And that was just one of those weird things. She just called me out of the blue and said, "I just seen it." And I was like, and if the girl wouldn't have been there, we'd have been sitting there. Linda would have been really happy. But she won a lot of money. She'd win $500,000 to that. Matter of fact, we decided we're going on vacation. So we stop off at the Pirates Cove thing. She walks in. I won $600. She walks in and wins $5,000. We spent an extra week down there. And, she was just fucking lucky, dude. I don't know how she did it. She was just, and she would play, and she'd be all happy. She win 5, 6, 7,000. I said, "No, I'm playing." I'm like, "What?" She's, "I'm playing," and she would win. I was like, I mean, I've won once or twice really big, but for the most of my wins were $500 to $1,500, nothing major. Every now and then a little $2,500 one, and but you got to count in how much money you're spending when you say that. Somebody asked me one time, "How much did you spend to win that $2,500?" I said, "Probably about $700." So it was really $1,800.
Yep.
But still, I'm not going to complain. It's free money is exactly what it is. But she was just, until Katrina came, she won. And we're talking about over a decade. She just won her fucking ass off. And then Katrina came and they changed everything to digital computers. Man, it's hard to win them son of bitches. Don't matter what time it is. They I don't know how they do it, but it doesn't matter what time you're in there. Except for like the rows where they do the the slot tournament. Sometimes you can get in there and actually win some money, but that money you got to spend that night. Well, if you don't, you don't get whatever you don't spend, you don't get.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, I won $2,500 one night, and I spent about $1,400, and I probably had about $600-700 in cash. I said, well, I'm gonna go home, come back next weekend. I went to put the card in, there was nothing on it. Like, so I went and touched. She said, "Oh no, you have to spend it that night." She said, "Whatever time you turn that card on, you have to spend it all of it." I said, "Well, it'd be nice if somebody was." I got pissed because I was like, it would have been nice if somebody told you something about it. Then the manager came out and was giving me shit, and I was like, "Dude," I said, "you should at least comp it." I said, "Because that's bullshit." And he's like, "Oh no." I said, "Well, where is it?" I said, "I'm looking all around here. I got the camera out videotaping at this point." I said, "Well, where the fuck does it say this?" He said, "Oh, you should have read the rules of the game." I said, "Where in the hell in the rules of the game does it say this?" I was pissed. So finally, I said, "Okay, this is how we're going to play this." I clicked on the live button on the TV and went live. I said, "Well, you know what?" I said, "A couple million people listen to this network. We're just going to let them watch this from the rest of the night." He had security come get me. Said, "You going to turn that off? If not, you're going to have to leave." I said, "Sure, I'll turn it off. Look." And he laughed and I turned it right back on. I just stuck it in my pocket is what I did, facing outward. So the cameras were outward. And let him record everything because the mic on that phone was on top. So I was like, cool. And then I released it all on I think it was on News and Flipside when one of the shows when Stephanie was off. I got phone call, I got threatened. We're going to sue your station. I said, feel free. It ain't got nothing to sue it for. If you feel free. I said, I'm not taking it down until you give me my money. We went back and forth for almost a year, and they finally comped it. They finally comped it. I guess they started getting negative press because I was having people write them emails and stuff. One night I had like 200 people write them, so I was like,
persistence. They make enough money.
Yeah, well, they do. And the guy says, we never do this, by the way. I was like, look, he said, it's only because you put us on the radio. We weren't even on TV back then. And I was like, look, dude. I said, come on. I said, I wouldn't have minded. I would have just stayed here and spent it all that night. I said, but I didn't know I had to. I said, you need to put it somewhere big and bold. You know, you have to spend it all same night.
What could you spend it on? I mean, like
slots,
besides other games,
slots, tables, games. You know, I
think basically you went there and you didn't win at all, right?
Yeah, you couldn't take the money with you. So what the hell? I mean, what else could you? Was there
you could spend it on food too. They let you spend it on food too. And
besides food and amenities, was there other stuff you could buy? Did they have like shops and shit?
So, but what it really is so you get $2,500 if you play it right. You'll probably come out with that much in cash or a little less than that in cash. So you get to keep the cash. That's yours to take with you. So that's why they don't.
The money you put in. The money you put in.
Yeah, well, the machine money, the money you won from them, the credit money you're putting in any cash you win, because you can cash it out anytime you want, and that's your cash. That's not their money, that's your money. But you know, whatever's left on the card is left on the card. So anyway, it was a valuable lesson when I play, but I don't play anymore. That's a problem. There's just all the casinos seem to have gotten, I don't know, they're just funky. It's reminded me of being in Vegas. It's the casinos bigger are down here actually bigger than they are in Vegas, which was a disappointment. I had gone to Vegas when I was real young, just right out the Navy, when it was old Vegas before it was all fancy Vegas. And then I started lecturing out in Laughlin, so we would go stay down in Vegas for a couple of days and maybe got to San Diego before we'd go home. And because Laughlin was 7 days long. So we go spend we'd spend 7 days in Laughlin, drive back and forth to Vegas a few times, and then we'd come down and stay in Vegas a few days. And but none of the casinos were real big. Like the Lexor, its gaming floor is not that big. The MG and Graham State gaming floor is not that big. They had a place called the Orleans. It had a huge gaming floor, but down here their gaming floors are massive.
Yeah, and they didn't have there's a new one that came out after they Disney-fied it. Circus. I don't know if you've been to it. They have one in Vegas. They have one in Reno, and the top gambling floor is like circus games for kids and like young adults. Mm-hmm. So they have claw games and like skee ball, and you win prizes and stuffed animals and stuff like that. Then the floor below that is the adult, 21 and only gambling floor, and it's enormous. They have an area that's all slots. They have an area that's all the dice games. They have one that's all the 21 games, and they have the poker and so on and so on. And it's laid out just like that.
So think about like that. Think about just what you said, but all just slots on one floor. The next floor you got table games, and then above that you've got in-house betting for races and horses and stuff like that.
Off track
football
games,
yeah. So
OTB.
You got that's a casino to us.
Yeah.
And come on, I was going to Vegas. Vegas is a fucking casino place in the world. I was disappointed, but I like
they make it look larger than life in Hollywood. That's what you went in. You went in with the wrong expectations.
But I like Nevada. I mean, it's a nice state.
It's a neat state, yeah.
Yeah. I like Fallon, Nevada. I've only
been to Reno.
I was in Fallon too, but that was just because we were blowing shit up.
That's why I was there, dude.
So there was Fallon, Nevada, and then there was the Horseshoe Club or whatever it was down
Gratitude
the road.
to you, Heidi. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Thank you. Much love to you too.
Yeah. That's what. But no, Jimmy, Fallon, Nevada was just for blowing shit up. It's a Navy. It's a game.
Yeah, you guys were training, learning how to use.
It's a training base, but it's more than that. It's like it's insane. They put a lot of pressure on you, but it's also kind of a place to go blast steam. Because when I was there, they had the Horseshoe Club or whatever they fucking called it, about 10 miles down the road, and you could even book in a room for that. So a couple of guys and us got together. We all booked one room. And we would come and go because we knew what our duty rosters were going to be. Because sometimes you were 48 hours on without a fucking break. Oh, yeah, did somebody bring you out an MRE for food? You're like, what the fuck is this?
They're gross, man. Box
I know they are. I mean, I got a couple boxes in my closet. They're just nasty.
They're bad.
And,
we used to make bombs with the part that makes the heat.
Yeah. There's one right here.
Yeah.
Dude, the old ones, they've changed them a lot since.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're like a 3-course meal, dude. They're beautiful.
So when before I joined in the Navy, I was waiting to go, and I was working this in-flight company, and we used to package. They used to come in boxes though, and they would have little metal cans in it with real meat in them. All of them have some kind of Hershey things in them, Libby's something in there. They always had Libby's fruit and stuff. It always came with a P90. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what a P90 is, it's a can opener.
Yep, and they call them John Wayne's.
Yeah, the Navy has to put a number on everything though. So
John Wayne.
So it worked though. I ain't gonna say it didn't work. And some of them you could heat, some of them you couldn't heat. But they had a lot of all of them. And then the earlier ones had stockings in them and different type of chocolate bars. That was a trade with the enemy. But once we weren't at war anymore, they didn't need
some also kept had cigarettes and
toilet paper. 2 of them. You got 2 cigarettes and 2 matches.
Yeah. And then I know just before I joined, they had updated that to was a little thing with 6 cigarettes in it and a little fold over green pack of matches, which I don't know why they did that because the stick ones are better. But I was surprised because we were always stealing the cigarettes out of them. Yes, I used to smoke back then before anybody says anything. And
probably one of the biggest trade commodities on board ships.
But I mean, sometimes
you
would
give you 10 cigarettes for your next beer. Okay, deal.
But I mean, sometimes you would get Winston. Sometimes you'd get Marlboro. I mean, you were actually getting real cigarettes.
Chesterfields.
Yeah, you get them. You get a couple of different kinds, and then there was all of them always come with like little chocolate bars, little chocolate with surround, and they give you 2 or 3 of those. These are for trading or eating or whatever. Yeah. You could make cocoa. They gave you cocoa powder if you wanted to make cocoa. They gave you coffee if you wanted to make coffee.
Oh, man, those were the days. But I tell you what, Jay, the best thing to do for some comshon or trading, all you need is 1 pound of coffee, and you can get whatever in the hell you want from anywhere for coffee. We loaded up coffee when we were in South Carolina, okay? They had 2 Marines stationed, one on the dock and one right where we put it away down in the thing. Then we had the young officer. He had his 45 locked and loaded. Okay, seriously, that's how coffee was. Joe will tell you that coffee was like gold. It really was, man. For a pound of coffee, you could get whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
They tried that instant shit for a month, and everybody in the ship was threatening to leave. They were like, "What is this? This isn't coffee. This is nasty shit."
Okay, I'm sorry. This is a chat, so I'm going to say this. We pulled into Australia. We were in Perth, okay, and we were running out of meat. So what did they give us? They gave us kangaroo meat.
Kangaroo,
and it was really gristly. It sucked.
Yeah,
It bad.
It's like squirrel, really
then,
fat, really gristly.
Then they gave us, sheep milk from a sheep.
That must have gave you all the shits real good.
Oh my God, it was crazy. Then when we ran out of milk out at sea, we used to drink powdered milk.
Ew.
Yeah, that powdered milk sucks. I've had to drink it before.
Oh my God. You needed to add sugar in it.
You know what's worse about powdered milk is it comes in 3 flavors: chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla, regular milk.
It was regular milk, but you needed to add sugar in that to make it right.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, it mainly was they gave it to you more for cooking than they did for drinking.
Yeah.
It was one of the things. I know people. The MREs came with all kind of stuff. There were all kind of different ones. You'd see different stamps because they came from different companies. But in the early days, there was always a lot of chocolate in them. A lot of chocolate. And really, like I said, it was meant more for trade than anything else. Everybody would get, so in the early days, they would get 2 or 3 packets of the little coffee. And they always came from a company like Folgers. Everything in them would come from a reputable company. All of it did. It wasn't some company you've never heard of or something. Today, there's no chocolate in these. They will come with Pop-Tarts, and they'll come with shortbread biscuits and stuff like that. And they'll usually come with 2 or 3 different two type of dinners. A lot of them have the pull tab that heat them automatically. Some of them you got to heat yourself. Some of them, when you look at the expression date on some of them, you're looking like, what? When? I'll be dead when this shit expires. What the hell is this? What the hell am I eating?
Terrible, dude. It was terrible. Oh my God.
But I missed the chocolate in them. I mean, because that was a thing, man. We used to do, and everything was name brand. Even the little cans of fruit, they were Libby's mixed fruit. I mean, they were good too. I mean,
they were Hershey chocolates.
Yeah, you always got Hershey chocolate. You got Hershey mix for hot chocolate, which was kind of cool. So you're out in the jungle and the shit. I'm mixing some hot chocolate, man. Hold on.
Oh yeah, dude. And then you'd make your homemade hooch. I was a baker on board the carrier, and they would come by and get some yeast. That's all they wanted, some yeast. And I give them some yeast, and in return, they gave me something that, I wanted. And so I gave them yeast, and they gave me something, and then they made their homemade hooch with it.
Yeah, some of that homemade hooch was pretty good too, man.
Yeah, it was.
But them idiots were like, let me put a little diesel in. Fuck, you don't put no diesel in there. What's wrong with you? How about some jet fuel? No, we don't need no jet fuel. None of that shit's good for us. Put some shit in there. I know we stopped over some little tropical island, and I seen a bunch of the boys coming back because I was a lieutenant by then. And I seen a bunch of the boys coming back with bananas and oranges. I knew what was going on because it wasn't going to the cafeteria. I'm watching these guys. I'm like, And then one guy had a box of yeast about this big. I said, let me see that. He's like, Mr. Joe, he said, looked up, he said, you used to be an enlisted man, Mr. Joe. I started laughing.
Yeah.
What were you, E4? And you
got away with shit. You did.
Oh, yeah, you did.
You got away
I
with
told him, I said, as long as I get some of it, we cool. And he said, really? I said, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I said, but, don't get busted with it. And if you get busted, I didn't know nothing. And I said, and make sure I get some when it comes out. And they brought me this blackberry, banana, peach shit. Dude, make your dick fall off. You were like, God damn, what kind of alcohol is this, man?
Yeah.
It made me think it was wood alcohol. Oh my God. Well, your eyes would be lit. I remember one day I ran into my CEO. He goes, Joe, he said, I've never seen your eyes lit before. What you been into? I said, I don't know what it was, man. Something I found he said, never mind. He said, where you headed? I said to my bunk. He said, good place for you to be going.
I'll tell you how dumb Navy are a bunch of dumbasses. Okay, some are, not all. We went into Diego Garcia. We were just pulled in, and guys decided to go shark fishing. All right, true story. So someone caught a baby shark, and we brought it on board. Okay, some knucklehead got a little pair of pliers to get the hook up. Yes, yes. And the officer of the deck, he saw it, and we could never ever bring sharks up on board the ship anymore. He literally was going into the shark's mouth with a little pair of pliers to pull out the hook. No shit.
And they got them long needle nose on the ships. Well, they on the in the down where the hangar is, they got them bit long ones. They got them long. You could have grabbed a pair of them and grabbed it out of there. I don't know.
But this guy was a knucklehead. Oh my god.
We used to see so much paraphernalia get brought on the ship because being what I was, that wasn't my job. I was a lieutenant, but my job wasn't to go around policing these people. That wasn't my job. And I still remember the captain asked me one day. He said, he said, I know you spent a lot of time on the deck. He said, I mean, in the hangar. He said, I said, yeah, the other day they were acting a little weird. I said, I reported it to the number one. I said, because they were acting a little weird. And he come down there and tore up everybody's ass and sent him to bed. He said, well, what happened to him? I said, I don't know. I don't want to know. He started laughing. He said, you ain't going to rat your friends? I said, He said, Joe, they enlisted. You're an officer now. I said, it don't matter. So I just I don't know.
Can't do it. You just can't.
He started laughing. I said, I can't do it. He's like, that's good to know you'll have my back if shit ever goes down.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And I was like, he said, besides, I know what happened, and I will tear their asses up when I see them in the morning. Yeah, I don't know what kind of home heat they got into, but they was fucking lit.
Being the cook in the Navy, this was really cool, right? So when we were in Diego Garcia, at night we would get shrimp and catch red snapper. And you know how expensive red snapper is, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we would bring it up, and people would ask us to cook them. I had a lot of Filipino cooks. I worked with them. Oh my God, it was so freaking good. So our division officer, right, she came in and she busted us. And she was reaming us a new butthole. And then the MS-1 Helos was his name, MS-1 Helos. He said, try. And she did. And that was all she wrote. That's all she wrote. See, let us cook as many as we wanted. She said, just don't get caught.
Don't get caught. That was the whole part with the officers. They're like, look, don't get me in trouble, because the day you get me in trouble, you all are in trouble.
Yep.
It's, who
I was afraid of was the master chiefs and the senior chiefs.
Yeah, you should be, because they're the meanest motherfuckers on the ship. Even the captain's scared of them fuckers.
Oh, yeah.
You don't serve that long to get those. When you got those the stripes, you've been in for a long ass time.
Yep, and they're gold too.
Yes, I used to ask I had one of my master chiefs all the time. I had him doing stuff for me. He said, I liked it better when you was enlisted man, and I was telling you what to fucking do. I was like, look, boss. I said, I'm still scared of you. I said, but still, we got to get this done. And he said,
well, I'll tell you one more story before we go. We were in Cuba for sea trials, and so the very first day we had a lieutenant take control of damage control. Okay, we failed with a 48. Okay, so the next day, a master chief, hall tech, okay, grabbed the lieutenant by the hand. This is a true story. Grabbed him by the hand, pulled his seat out, and he said, sit your ass down here and we'll show you how it's done. We scored a 98.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Hell yeah. I'd rather listen to a master chief or a senior chief.
They got well, that's what I said. You don't make it that far in the Navy. I mean, that's 30 years at least, man. You don't fuck around with them guys. Not only do they know everything, they know everybody. It's because I know the guy who was working reactor room with us, he's like, why they send your rookie ass down here? And I said, Chief, rookie? I said, I probably know more about this than you do. And he looked up at me and said, and I doubt that seriously. And we got into a pissing match. And actually, he did know more than I did. But he was impressed with what I knew. He's like, son of a bitch, how long you been doing this? And so we had him. And after that, him and I were fine. We got along good. Because unfortunately, at a lieutenant's is an okay place to be, but not when you're talking to Master Chiefs. Talking to any enlisted
Oh
man,
no, man, no.
when you're talking to Master Chiefs, you can't just go, look, dude, I'm your boss. You're going to do it. No, he's going to be like, fuck you too, buddy.
No, you can't.
Even if it costs him getting in trouble, he's not going to go. So when you talk to a chief, especially Master Chief, you just say, look, man, I need this done. This is why, just show him some respect.
I mean,
as long as you show them respect, they're all right.
We used to get ensigns right out of Annapolis, dude. Oh my god!
Now, when I made Lieutenant Commander, they lightened up.
JGs, I'm telling you, that's funny.
I still remember that. The day I got my LC, my Lieutenant Commander, they were all like, they actually, I met 5 of them that day. Said, and who would have thought you? Whose ass you been kissing? Yeah, because I got it really fast, and it was. But they wanted me for whatever reasons they wanted me for, because I was one in a dozen that could do everything. That's the only reason I got promoted so fast and got so many clearances, was because I was the only guy on the ship that could go to all those places and know what I was doing and not have to worry about it. And whether it was on the flight deck, whether it was in the hangar, whether it was in any electronics booth in the entire boat or in the entire plane or in the reactor room, I knew what I was doing. And apparently, them fucking idiots in electronics and the Nimitz didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I mean, there were some idiots on there. I asked him one thing. I said, and I got in trouble for this. We were in the captain's.
Well, it's not just there; it's in the civilian world. I mean, you work construction.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the
major
flagship.
hatchet jobs on electrical boxes.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the flagship at the time of the Navy, and I'm of the Pacific Fleet, and I'm sitting there going, and we have dinner in the captain, which was nice that I even got asked. And I asked him, I said, sir, how do we get so many idiots on this boat? And and I still remember the number one looks up at me like you just not just fucking asked.
Yeah.
And I could just see it on his face, and the captain looks at me and says, it's all right, number one, calm down. It kind of reminded me of Star Trek every time I heard him call him number one.
Yeah.
He said, calm down. He said, Joe's right. We got some idiots on this boat. He said, so, Mr. Joe, it's your job to make them not idiots anymore. And I looked at him like, what the? See,
why is that my
you
fault?
never fuck with a captain. So you never fuck with him. That was stuck with them ass. I did. I got a bunch transferred. I got a bunch kicked off. Look, I started looking for certain people to come on because this is bullshit. At one point, I was doing everything, and I wasn't supposed to be. And then we got some really good people after that, though. And my captain and I still remember when he promoted, he got my lieutenant commander. He said, now you see, this is why you're an LC now, because you listened, you got everybody under control. He said, how many idiots do we have now on the boat? And I looked at him and said, none. He just started laughing. It was like, he was tough, man. It was, he scared me. I ain't going to lie. That motherfucker scared the hell out of me. I'm thinking, man, look, because I mean, one word from him, I'm wherever. It's wherever he wanted to send me. That's where I was going.
Right.
Yeah. But it's just one of the things. What people? No, we're talking about serving. Oh, it's weird. Then you got the port, all the different places and different. Depends what fleet you're in. Well, back then it was still 7 fleets. So I was in the Westpac fleet.
I was on the east. We did the Mediterranean. Med runs.
He got to go to all the good places. I didn't even get to go to fucking Hawaii. Even I watched us go, woo, sail right on past Hawaii. Woo, pilots leaving, other people leaving. I'm on the boat.
Never made it to Hawaii.
We went to a lot of
what the coolest thing for me was when we were in the Atlantic going over to the Med. You had to go through the Straits of Gibraltar, and there were mountains on either side of the straits, and I mean, I don't know what country it was, but the clouds literally came and covered the top of the mountains. I mean, it was cold as hell. And so you knew you were in the Mediterranean the Mediterranean Sea,
Italy.
whenever you saw the Rock of Gibraltar. When you saw the rock, then you know you were in the Med.
Yeah, they said that all used to be dry ground back there until the rock split apart. It's the stress of the continental shift. It's
that was a trip, man. That was nice.
Oh, I thought we were going to get to go through the Panama Canal, and then the guy said
I did.
Yeah, they told
that
us
would
the
have been
ship
cool.
the ship was too big. We couldn't go through. I still remember he said, yeah, we couldn't go through. We're too big.
Oh, we did, Joe.
I know. Don't ask me. I was kind of like, what the hell?
I thought the Suez Canal was pretty cool as hell.
The captain was pissed because we were doing golf maneuvers, so we had to sail all the way around into the Gulf. And then I still remember that like a week later, two submarines ran in, a Russian and American sub ran into each other. And then later on, an American destroyer ran into a Russian sub, all in the Gulf of Mexico. They were like, what the hell are y'all doing out here? And then because we were on the East Coast then, so we sailed up, waved at Norfolk, like, fuck you, Norfolk. And then we went up to the top of Canada and started sailing through. It was not too much ice, but there was some. And then back around the Pacific. And then we hung out right there between Russia and the United States in the strait right there. I don't know what the hell we were doing. And it's like, yeah, Russia want to start a war? We right here. You want to die, motherfuckers? We right here. I'm not sure what that was about.
Yeah, there was a lot of near misses in the 80s.
And then we stopped off in a couple places in Canada, and then we stopped off in BC, and then we stopped off in Seattle and Portland and a couple of places in California. Then we went to the atolls. So an atoll, people, is just like little shit of an island is what it is. And technically the U.S. only owns one, but obviously that's not true because we were in a lot of other ones. And we even were at Bikini Atoll. You could see still there's ships floating, melted and shit from nuclear blast and stuff. Actually, what I saw that's the only thing I can actually say. Anything else than that is actually still classified. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of them things. I don't know why it's classified, to be honest with you, but it still is. Well, no, I almost got in trouble for that the first time I said that we were actually down there and seeing the melted boats.
Well, because that area of the water is like the Nevada test site for the Air Force and the Navy bomber pilots and so on to test their skills in war games. That's what that.
Well,
area is.
I would have gotten in trouble, but somebody in FBI had actually found a video online of a bomb being dropped at Bikini Atoll and melting some boats. If it wouldn't have been for that, I would have actually gotten in trouble. But he's like, well, okay, since it's already public. The guy was all pissed. I was like, well, dude, no, because I told him that's why I'd seen it was online. I was like,
yeah, it's public. Yeah, it's been public for a long time.
And when we got there, I was kind of like, well, wow, it looks just like it. Actually, Gene, they said that they took off the entire top of Bikini Atoll, I think 7 feet deep, all the way across and resurfaced it. Yeah, so it's not radioactive anymore. Don't ask me. I didn't go on shore. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
No, we were there for a little while for some other kind of testing going on. And then, half the time that's what we were doing, pulling in places and blowing shit up and then taking off and going other places. And then just stopping them at random cities around the world. Hey, how you doing?
Boom.
Did you know that the Nimitz could reach this far? I guess it's a nuclear carrier. I guess it can. No, the Big E, which was the Enterprise, got their asses in trouble because they had a pet elephant on board.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they made a deal. I think they were in India. Somebody got them an elephant, put it on net, brought it on board. And they were sailing around. I forgot what city they pulled into. I think it was a Chinese city. And they seen the elephant on board. And I guess the news media found out. And then the command found out. And somebody wasn't happy. So
yeah, and that's kind of.
And so the elephant went to go live somewhere. Well, no, they got videos of them out there on the deck. They're out there hosing him down, feeding him fruit and stuff. Because you get bored sometimes when you see a lot of times, guys, when you're in the service, you're just sailing.
Yep.
You're not blowing nothing up. You're not doing anything. Your duties are caught up. You're just sailing. You're like, ooh, la, 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 la. Because everybody has different duties.
Then you play spades for 12 hours.
Yeah, she can do that a lot. And, It's just a lot of it's just la 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 la.
Poker.
I used to like to sit because I used to like that I could get up in the contact No, I couldn't sit in the big boy's chair, but I could look out the windows while we were cruising along, watching the jets come in and stuff. Yeah, but even that was only so. And then we used to go sit in the front. See, underneath. So in two places on the carrier you can sit. There's a gangplank underneath. Not a gangplank, but there's a rail system underneath in the front and in the back. You can sit in either one of them. And when you sit in the one in front, it's a little hairy because it looks like you're going to get barbecued by the jet engine when they come off, but it's actually not that close. And the one in the back they used to let you go to, but they stopped because idiots started taking pictures with flashes. But you can't do that because the carrier uses a ball system to help the pilots adjust. So they had to put an end to that. Yep. Yeah, it's a flashing ball they use to help line up the jets when they're coming in. They a lot of the stuff they used in the old days they still use it. The catapult system's better, but still some of the way they bring in the jets. So if you ever watch them,
thank you, Joe.
If you ever watch, you see a guy in a green shirt doing this, and you see a guy in a yellow shirt. So the guy in the green shirt is communicating to the guy in the yellow shirt. The guy in the yellow shirt is communicating to the pilot to keep moving his craft up until it locks in place for the catapult. Yes, they still do all of that. All of that's still done, just like that.
It's not steam no more. It's what? Kinetic energy, right?
Kinetic energy, yeah. It's a kinetic. Yeah. It just whips them off the carrier now at some ungodly speed. You're like, it's but now with the F-35s, I don't even know if they're going to keep it like that because they can land and do their thing. But I don't know. I hear those use more fuel, so maybe they will keep the. Well, they catch a cord. Well, they catch a cable actually going across.
Yep. Yeah. 5 of them. There's 5 cables.
There's a little hook that comes down.
Tail hook.
And the tail hook should grab one of those 5 cables. If it don't, then you power your engines up and go for a come around.
Yep.
And if you ever notice, almost all pilots will do a come around before they land. So they'll go around the craft one time, and then they'll line themselves up, and then they'll come in for a landing. The carrier can catch a airplane every 40 seconds. Yes, they can launch one at that same speed. So that's designed to be beasts. And they go into the wind. They go into the wind because it's easier to catch the plane.
Yes. Well, essentially, what happens is that people don't realize is the plane, no matter how fast it is leaving and it's literally being launched. But they're not steam catapults anymore. I forget what they call it. It's got
they're kinetic engines.
They're kinetic. They're kinetic.
Yeah, but in any sense, it's being launched off the deck by a catapult and its own engines. But when it comes off the deck, it doesn't go right up. It goes, whoop, it drops towards the ocean. It falls off the boat, and if they hit the ocean, they're dead. That's why they need to go into the wind so they get some extra lift for one thing, and two, it's less likely that they're going to dump into the ocean.
Yeah, you see, when the F-35s do it, they don't dip.
They can do vertical takeoff.
Yeah, they can, but they don't dip because they have more power and less weight. That's why.
Maybe the titanium hulled ones might not. They might not be as heavy as like the F-18s and other things.
Oh no, the F-18s. They F-18s almost now they don't dip as much with the new kinetic one. So with the steam, they dipped more. With the new one, they don't dip, but they still dip. Oh no, the big ones always dip. You see them.
Oh yeah, it's some of that metal.
You hear them props as soon as they come off the edge. They're like, wah, 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 wah. And this thing kind of dips down and it pulls itself up. F-18s, and now the F-18 pilots are so good at this. It's just you rarely can tell. They're flying. They're thrusting up before they even get going.
Hey, listen, guys, I got to run.
Yes, well, it's time. It's past our bedtime.
Yeah.
Isn't Uncle Sean on or somebody?
He should be on.
He should be on.
If not, he starts at 11.
It's let's see if he's on or not, so we can plug him. My name is Sean. I live on the corn. Oh, that was
good night,
corny.
guys. Good night.
Big good see him. Oh, yes, he is on. He is. What do we got? Through the glass. Where's
Darkly.
he at? No, I was just looking for your hat on. Through the glass, Darkly Radio with what? Who? With
not live
Sean,
yet. Oh, he is live.
He's talking about Giants. Yeah, he's talking about Giants. Yes. So y'all go check him out. We're out of here. We got to go to bed. Well, we ain't got to go to bed, but we got to get off the radio. And I'm
going to go upstairs and do a Bob Ross painting. So,
oh shit, you done got motivated. No, I'm going to eat. Is what I'm going to do. I can't do this show without getting hungry now, especially doing 2 back to back. Oh no!
Yeah, thank God my gal brought me some corn dogs from across the street.
See, that's a good woman, man. That's a good one. Bring him some corn dogs, feed him up,
Yep.
give him, put some insurance on, and get him a cardiac arrest. There we go. No, I'm just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the chat. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Of course, like I say every week, any moans, groans, bitches, or complaints, please address them to Michelle DeRoche. She loves your comments. She said, please. You can get her email online. She really does. She enjoys hearing from y'all, and especially you ones that say fires and shit like that. She really likes hearing from y'all. No, really, she likes to hear y'all. Vox, nice to see you. But anyway, guys and girls, we got to go. So again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and the chat. Jay and I are going to go get in some kind of trouble, and we'll see y'all all in a couple of days. Good night, everybody.
See you later.
Boop.